This young man, right now he is participating in the beginner's trial with his group on the demon planet. The trial sounds incredibly simple. Just survive on the demon planet for 5 minutes. If he can do that, he can automatically complete the job change. But facing this beastly human, it's likely he won't even survive a minute. The thing is, 55 years ago, a gigantic celestial body known as the demon planet suddenly appeared very close to Earth. What's worth mentioning is, the flora and fauna on Earth underwent sudden mutations into monsters after the demon planet appeared. They are called beast gods and began wreaking havoc all over the world. However, during this desperate time, survivors unexpectedly discovered many circles with miraculous teleportation functions appearing on Earth. The first brave souls who ventured into the demon planet found that this planet seemed to be a surreal digital world. Here, humanity could change jobs into various professions. After changing jobs, each person would possess data, equipment, and skills that could be upgraded while also gaining powerful attributes. Thus, a new concept emerged called explorer. This term refers to those who came to the demon planet in search of this power. As for the reality that Jiang Kai is experiencing, as mentioned, it is the first beginner trial for newly job-changed explorers. Right now, he is the only survivor left. But in front of him is an abyss, and Jiang Kai has no way out. Facing the beastly human slowly approaching, Jiang Kai feels completely lost, but he truly does not want to resign to his fate. Is it possible that he went bankrupt to reach the demon planet only to sit back and wait for death? No, he refuses to accept that. Instead of just sitting here waiting for the beastly human to take his life, Jiang Kai decides to take a risk for his family, to seize the only chance of survival. And so, he made a very risky decision to jump into the abyss. As he fell, Jiang Kai saw the beastly human rushing to the edge of the abyss, staring at him intently. But it couldn't chase him anymore. Suddenly, a board appeared in front of him with a message stating that his actions were very similar to that of a gambler. Congratulations! You have activated a 1 in a million chance to receive a hidden profession. You have successfully changed jobs. Congratulations! You have become a hidden profession of glory called gambler. After an unknown amount of time, Jiang Kai woke up beside a forest. He coughed a few times and struggled to sit up. However, at that moment, Jiang Kai felt something was off because despite falling from such a high cliff, he wasn't injured at all. Moreover, the wound he had from the beastly human's weapon had completely healed. The system screen appeared again. The notification explained that because Jiang Kai had successfully changed jobs in time, his basic attributes had been refreshed, equivalent to being fully revived with all health restored. That's why he wasn't hurt anymore. In front of the screen, a beautiful girl with long white hair like a waterfall appeared. Jiang Kai seemed to recognize her. This person is the artificial intelligence that coexists with the demon planet. The other party did not deny it. After that, she began to introduce Jiang Kai to the innate skills of the profession he had just awakened. The innate skill is called Double It. It allows the system's rewards or penalties to activate a doubling effect, and there is a 1% chance to activate a super doubling effect. When this effect is activated, the rewards or penalties will increase tenfold. You will activate the double effect and have a 1% chance to trigger the super double effect. When this effect is activated, the rewards or penalties will increase tenfold. Because Jiang Kai has activated his double talent, he also received this very talent. So he ended up with 2 career talents, which means he will receive the second talent of the gambler, Jiang Kai, leaving him utterly amazed. Normally, when someone changes jobs, they only get 1 talent. Yet here he is managing to unlock 2. What kind of divine blessing is this? The second talent that Jiang Kai received is called Super Critical Strike, and its effect is to modify his critical damage to 200 times. His original critical hit rate was set at 0.1%. Then, Jiang Kai's information window opened up. Currently at level 1, he has 4 points in strength, 8 points in physique, 12 points in agility, 12 points in mental strength, and no points in defense. Jiang Kai was once again met with astonishment. Normally, after changing jobs, the total attributes usually hover around 20 points, yet he has reached 36 points. Thanks to the double talent, he can double his attribute points. After changing jobs, that girl explained, and Jiang Kai's eyes lit up. If that's the case, then every time he levels up, his stats will far surpass others. Normally, when someone levels up, they gain 10 attribute points. For him, it's 20 points. This means that when Zhang Kai levels up, it's equivalent to someone else leveling up twice. Moreover, he also has the super critical strike talent. A normal person's critical strike only deals double damage, but his is 200 times. Although his current critical hit rate is only 1%, if he can increase this rate in the future, his damage will be incredibly terrifying. Overall, Zhang Kai was very satisfied with the career he just received. It truly was a gamble to escape from the Beastman, and he hit the jackpot. Speaking of which, Zhang Kai suddenly remembered something. Earlier, that monster had thrown a weapon at him. That weapon had fallen with Zhang Kai into the abyss, and now it was stuck at the bottom of the river nearby. Previously, he only thought about quickly changing jobs to earn money for a kidney transplant for his older brother, because on the other side, even if the job was weak, it would still be easier to earn money than on Earth. But unexpectedly, he had inadvertently become a powerful hidden profession, like a gambler. Zhang Kai might be able to quickly earn money to treat his brother now, so that his whole family could live in comfort. Thinking that way, he pulled out the spear that the Beastman had stuck in the river. At that moment, Zhang Kai also received a new reminder. After successfully changing jobs, what he needed to do now was to complete the beginner quest named Bring Peace to the Holy Miracle City within 7 days. Completing the job change was just the first step. Next, completing this beginner challenge is the biggest goal. Within 7 days, Zhang Kai must reach the final destination of the training area, which is the Holy Miracle City. But to succeed in reaching the destination, the challenges are stacked high. First, he must pass through the training area filled with monsters. If he gets defeated by them, it would be considered a failure, and he would be teleported back to Earth. Although dying on the other side means 0 points, it equates to dying on Earth. Moreover, the body wouldn't be harmed and could log back in, but logging back in comes at a tremendous cost. A cost that is only light for the wealthy. After all, to be teleported here, Zhang Kai had spent most of his fortune. The rich have countless opportunities to try again, but someone like him who has no money in his pocket must make it through in one go. There is absolutely no second chance, which made Zhang Kai extremely tense. He tightly gripped his weapon and took a step forward, and then suddenly he heard a scream. The owner of that scream sounded very familiar. If Zhang Kai wasn't mistaken, he moved a little further ahead. It turns out you were right about the wrong person. The one who's yelling like a madman is actually your good friend from years ago named Vian True. Right now, he's surrounded by 6 snakes. And Vian True's greatest fear is snakes, so his expression makes total sense. Zhang Kai didn't rush in immediately because those 6 snakes have very potent venom. A single bite could take down anyone, human or beast. Besides, there are 3 of them right now. After careful consideration, Zhang Kai chose the right moment to charge in. "Don't be scared, True, I'm coming," he shouted, and only then did Vian True turn his head. Surprised, he realized he could actually meet his buddy right here. "Kai, what are you doing here?" That was the only thing Vian True could think of at that moment. He even had the energy to tell Zhang Kai to ignore him and run away, because it was really dangerous here. With tears and snot running down his face, Vian True looked at Zhang Kai just as one of the 6 snakes ambushed him from behind. Luckily, Zhang Kai reacted quickly. He immediately threw the spear in his hand towards it. Bullseye! He pinned the snake's head firmly into the tree trunk behind it. It was truly a stunning move to take out the opponent. Vian True stared wide-eyed in shock, unable to believe it. He couldn't believe that his buddy could easily take down a 6-headed snake. In fact, Zhang Kai had planned this all along. He used Vian True to draw the attention of the 6 snakes, then circled around to attack from behind. This tactic was incredibly effective, as evidenced by the fact that he had already taken one down. But now, he had 2 others targeting him, ignoring that fact. Zhang Kai continued to charge forward, aiming to retrieve his weapon. Vian True was so scared that his heart felt like it was about to leap out of his chest. He thought this was really the end, because those snakes were very agile. However, Zhang Kai was no slouch either. Under Vian True's worried gaze, he successfully dodged the attack from the 2 venomous snakes. After switching classes, Zhang Kai's attributes had doubled. His agility level was now comparable to level 2, which is why the 6-headed snakes at level 1 couldn't keep up with him, leading to the impressive display just now. If that's the case, defeating them was probably just a matter of time. Thinking this, Jiang Kai said to Vian Tru, "Keep drawing their attention." Vian Tru immediately complied. At this moment, Jiang Kai had successfully retrieved his weapon. The two of them began to cooperate seamlessly, and before long, all 3 six-headed snakes had been taken down. Vian Tru still felt that this was all unreal. He was only supposed to distract the snakes. Meanwhile, Jiang Kai had easily taken them down. After resolving the danger, Jiang Kai let out a sigh of relief. Clearly, he had a class focused on agility with low strength, yet he could still take down a level 1 monster instantly. It seemed that the spear he picked up from that beast was a great piece of equipment to enhance strength for beginners. Legends say that newbies can only be killed by monsters, but how did you manage to kill one Kai Vian Tru suddenly moved in closer from behind? Then he hugged Jiang Kai tightly because they were best friends. Jiang Kai didn't want to hide it, and shared how he was lucky enough to switch to the hidden class of gambler, so his attributes surpassed even the level. "You can't tell anyone about this, okay?" Jiang Kai cautioned. Vian Tru made a silly face for a few seconds when he heard the words gambler, but quickly regained his usual lively demeanor. "Wow, even though I don't know what that class is, my class is no joke either. Usually I brag to my friends, oh, even though I don't know what that profession is, mine isn't useless either." His profession is a warrior, a type of job that relies on strength. At level 1, a warrior has 8 points in physicality, 8 points in strength, 5 points in agility, and 5 points in mental power. Jiang Kai suddenly understood why the warrior could withstand for so long. In the face of the attack from 3 snakes, the warrior is one of the top 5 professions in the divine nation. However, how many professions exist in the demon realm is something no one knows. But all the explorers, once they enter this planet, the first thing they experience is class changing. What they change into usually depends on the materials they buy before logging in. Normally, those with money spend around 10 million to buy powerful class change materials. Taking those to the demon realm allows them to directly change classes, to become top-tier professions. For example, a warrior like the one here or a knight. On the contrary, the poor can only buy the cheapest class change materials, and these class changes are very weak. Even if they change into something, it's all random. Their chances are high only to unlock professions that sound useless, like a drunkard or a beggar. After hearing that the warrior had become a warrior, Jiang Kai felt both happy and a bit worried. He asked, "But just one class change material for a warrior costs 50 million already. You didn't borrow money at high interest, did you?" "Hey, of course not. It's a long story. I'll explain it to you later," the warrior replied, knowing his friend wasn't in debt, which made Jiang Kai feel relieved. He then urged the warrior to quickly gather the corpses of the 3 snakes, as he heard these could also be sold for money. There are many things in the demon realm that can be exchanged for cash. Originally, Jiang Kai wanted to use this method to earn money to repay his family. The items obtained in the demon realm, like monster corpses or equipment, turn into tokens after dropping. Explorers will collect them and then sell them. Moreover, considering the recent battle, his gambling profession seems even stronger than a warrior's, so Jiang Kai felt his potential to earn money wasn't bad at all. They had just finished collecting the snake corpses when suddenly a third person appeared. The warrior instinctively hid behind Jiang Kai, thinking another monster was attacking. But to their surprise, the newcomer was just a girl. At first glance, she seemed weak and harmless. "Hi, the other party stammered, seemingly nervous. "My name is Tso Nuan Nuan. It's really hard for me to pass this trial alone. May I join your team?" Even though the girl looked harmless and beautiful, Jiang Kai wasn't the type to be easily charmed. He knew that he could barely protect himself. Bringing along a girl like this would only add more burden to them. Therefore, Jiang Kai had originally planned to refuse. Unexpectedly, Tso Nuan Nuan tried to persuade him by revealing that her profession was a doctor. Although she had no attack power, she could heal the team members. For example, if they encountered poisonous snakes like the previous ones, she could extract venom to enhance their weapon's attack power. "Please don't abandon me." So Nuan Nuan's eyes were almost in tears. The warrior, after hearing her words, felt his eyes light up with admiration facing a girl who could both heal and poison. It truly deserved some admiration. Jiang Kai thought carefully. A doctor is also one of the top 10 advanced professions, and healing is indeed very necessary in the beginner's trial. It's true that we should worship a bit. Zhang Kai thinks carefully. Being a doctor is one of the top 10 advanced professions, and in the beginner's trial, healing is definitely needed. For example, just like when you fell into the abyss earlier, if you hadn't been able to recover in time thanks to the transfer, I fear you would have been dead by now. So in the end, Zhang Kai agreed to let me Nuan join his team. He briefly introduced himself and the pillar to her. As for Nuan, after finding a temporary refuge, she seemed really emotional, constantly thanking him. "Hey buddy, you only changed your heart because you were being lustful." "Right," the pillar whispered into Zhang Kai's ear, knowing that this guy was just teasing him. But he really wanted to give that guy a beating. Meanwhile, at the base, logging into the 18th crystal planet located in the Holy Kingdom of Jiangzhong on Earth, in the data research room, Professor Li was using a wristwatch to accurately determine the location of the explorers on the crystal planet, looking excited. He heard that most of the watches were currently being sold. They could be used to search for various types of star data. The watches had many rich functions. The higher end the watch, the more functions it had. Professor Li was curious about how the new recruits were doing. "And what about my sister?" Suddenly, a training officer for the new recruits entered the room. That was me, Lam, also Nuan's older sister. After checking, Professor Li replied, "According to the watch's positioning for the training, designated for newcomers, many recruits have already been eliminated. Your sister, Nuan, according to my recent search, has teamed up with 2 others." Lam felt extremely anxious upon hearing this. Indeed, her sister was so timid that she had to find someone else to cling to, even though she had warned Nuan repeatedly that newcomers shouldn't form teams because in the training for new players, the more people gathered, the greater the chance of attracting monsters. Just about 3 minutes later, Professor Li confirmed that what Lam worried about was accurate. Because beside Nuan, along with Zhang Kai, the pillar 2 other beast-faced humans had just appeared. Lam felt so tense that her whole body shook. Just one beast-faced human was enough to slaughter newcomers. And now there were 2. How could her sister have a chance to survive? Death on the crystal planet, although it only equated to our character dying in the game, did not physically harm the real body on Earth, but the experience of dying was incredibly realistic on the crystal planet and would cause a huge psychological shock to a person. Many newcomers returned insane. In Nuan being so timid, Lam feared that she wouldn't be able to withstand this shock. So she was ready to bring her sister out for psychological counseling. However, just as Lam turned to leave, Professor Li announced that her sister was still alive right there on the crystal planet. What surprised him even more was that the 2 beast-faced humans had been eliminated by their team. This information shocked the entire research room, not just Lam. Looking back 3 minutes earlier, when those 2 monsters had just launched their attack on the team, their team's initial reaction was to run for their lives. Zhang Kai was no exception. However, he quickly realized that running wasn't the solution. The agility of the pillars couldn't match his, and they would soon be caught by the 2 monsters. So Zhang Kai decisively stopped to let the pillars and Nuan run ahead. He stayed back to block the monsters. In fact, this was a big gamble. Zhang Kai wasn't sure if he could take on the 2 beast-faced humans. But if he didn't try, all 3 of them would be doomed. Thinking that he bravely grabbed the long spear and charged straight at the opponent. Zhang Kai's thrust was incredibly precise. "But if we don't try, all 3 of us will end up dead." Thinking that you bravely grabbed the long spear and charged straight at the opponent. Zhang Kai's thrust is incredibly precise. However, the strength and health of this monster are no joke. Zhang Kai can't finish it off in one blow. Instead, he gets caught and thrown hard against a nearby rock. You barely have time to catch your breath before facing attacks from 2 beast-faced humans. At this moment, Zhang Kai's body is in great pain. He truly can't move. All he can do is blink as they close in on him. Damn it. Am I really about to get killed? Is my beginner's trial really going to end like this? Not far away, the pillar and Nuan have also witnessed this scene firsthand. Nuan, though timid, wants to turn back to save Zhang Kai when she sees him in danger. The pillar, although much stronger than her, is now trembling uncontrollably. At the same time, in the residential area of Jiangzhong on Earth, the pillar's mother is welcoming a mysterious guest who is the one who provided her son with materials to change his class to a warrior. While pouring tea for the guest, the pillar's mother keeps talking. "I don't know why you value my son so much. He may look tall, but he's actually very timid. If he encounters a monster on the demon planet, he definitely wouldn't even dare to fight. The man takes the cup of tea from the pillar's mother and replies calmly, "That's right, pillar's mother. When your son faces danger, he's more afraid than an ordinary person. But I see that sometimes no matter how scared he is, as long as he sees someone in need of help, he absolutely won't be afraid of death and will charge in. In fact, it's been proven that what this man says is true because the pillar, when witnessing his best friend cornered, finally overcame his fear and rushed forward. His large frame blocked Jiang Kai's path. Even though he was still trembling, he created an unexpectedly safe presence. Caillou, you let me stay behind to protect you because I'm timid. We're brothers. Brothers should stick together. If one of us is to die, I should die with you." As he speaks, the pillar puts all his strength into a punch forward. It seems that all his fear and panic are channeled into this blow, and it has had an effect that even Jiang Kai couldn't have expected. His buddy actually knocked down the beast-faced man in one hit, even though the damage he dealt was very low. It seems this is the incredibly fierce control of the warrior profession. Right after that, Jiang Kai feels an overwhelming sense of comfort, as if warm water is flowing through him. And he realizes Nuan Nuan is healing him. Seeing her come back, Jiang Kai immediately becomes tense. "Nuan Nuan, why did you come back? You're not a combat profession. This is really dangerous." Ignoring his words, Nuan Nuan steps forward. Her profession is a doctor, and this doesn't allow her to abandon an injured patient, although she is indeed scared. Remembering back to that year, Nuan Nuan's father, while fighting against the beast tide, had no medical support, so he fought hard and sacrificed himself. She doesn't want anyone else to suffer that fate again. Now, Jiang Kai is her teammate and needs support. How can she leave him behind and run away alone? With Nuan Nuan's full support, Jiang Kai's wounds heal rapidly. He suddenly smiles helplessly as both of his teammates are fearless like this. However, now even if all three of them attack together, the damage is still probably not enough to finish off the beast-faced man. The pillar is struggling to hold on while Jiang... But now, even if all three of them teamed up, I'm afraid the damage wouldn't be enough to take down the beast-faced man. The pillar is still struggling to hold on. Kai is trying hard to come up with a way to escape this predicament. But you actually thought of something. Jiang Kai suddenly remembered what Nuan Nuan had said when she tried to convince them to let her join the team. Besides healing, she could use venom to enhance the attack power of their weapons. Jiang Kai immediately asked, "Nuan Nuan, you said before that you could extract snake venom, right?" "That's right," Nuan Nuan replied nervously. "So can you heal the pillar while also coating my weapon with snake venom?" "Can you do that?" Jiang Kai just asked, while pulling out the body of a six-legged creature to give to Nuan Nuan. In reality, Nuan Nuan had never done these two things at the same time, but for the sake of her teammates, she was willing to give it a try just this once. They had no other choice. If it really works out, then the victory would be theirs now. Jiang Kai could no longer withstand the attacks from the beast man, but the warrior's profession of the pillar was just right for this task. And he was doing it well. However, his attacks weren't strong enough to take down that monster. But Nuan Nuan could use poison. From this perspective, the three of them clearly formed a standard combat team in the game consisting of 3 roles, shield healer and damage dealer. Not long after the process of extracting the poison was completed, Jiang Kai immediately grabbed his weapon that had been poisoned and charged forward with great enthusiasm. Yes, so what if a newbie is weak? He would break all prejudices and help his teammates overcome this trial. "Pillar, restrain the beast man for me!" Jiang Kai shouted loudly. The pillar received the signal and immediately concentrated his strength to deliver a punch similar to the one before stunning the beast man. For a few seconds, his punch was incredibly perfect, and while the beast man was dazed, Jiang Kai rushed in and stabbed it hard with his poisoned weapon. Just like that, with perfect coordination, they had truly succeeded. With the support of the pillar, and Nuan Nuan, Jiang Kai had taken down one of the beastmen while the other stood by glaring at them and howling. Under the gaze of the monster, the 3 of them stood firm. Their eyes were resolute, wanting to kill the other one. A thought crossed their minds at that moment. Team 5 really coordinated well. Now, even if another one showed up, the thought wasn't finished. Both the monster and the 3 of them charged in, signaling that another fierce battle was about to break out. The pillar restrained the monster Jiang Kai attacked, and Nuan healed. The battle was intense, and they all shouted, "We can defeat it perfectly!" Over here, Professor Lee and To Lam Lam were also astonished by this. She was observing the monitoring screen while saying, "What the wristwatch data shows that they really killed 2 beast men, but just 1 beast man could wipe out an entire group of newbies. How did they do that?" Professor Lee was also sweating cold. He analyzed that according to the data from the watch, currently Nuan had no killing ability. Her team had a level 1 warrior with very weak damage. Thus, the one who killed the monster could only be a member of the team named Jiang Kai. But strangely, they couldn't find out his profession in the observation room. A group of people was standing there. On the large screen, images and information about Jiang Kai were displayed. Name Jiang Kai, gender male, age 18, residence. Slum profession demon hunter. Unclear. To Lam Lam, hearing this, looked a bit surprised and continued, "Can't find his profession. How is that possible?" Thoughts kept racing through her mind. To be able to kill 2 beast men and not have his profession, found out what kind of character was this newbie transitioning scenes after defeating the 2 monsters. The system immediately sent a notification to Jiang Kai. Player, Jiang Kai has earned the kill of a level 2 beast man X2. The 3 of them joyfully lay down on the ground to rest after the battle ended. Nuan spoke up, "We did it!" Nuan spoke up, "We did it! We succeeded!" Vian Tru excitedly chimed in. "I can't believe Kai can stay so calm and adapt like this. So cool!" Nuan sat up, her eyes filled with confidence as she continued. "Now we have the strength to face the beast with a human face. We can definitely reach the trial destination safely." Vian Tru agreed with her intention. He added, "We can go straight to the destination and finish the trial." The 2 of them were animatedly discussing this when Jiang Kai slowly said, "No rush. We still have plenty of time to reach the final point of the holy wine." His words left Vian Tru and Nuan puzzled, turning to look at him, wondering why. With a determined gaze, Jiang Kai expressed his thoughts. "Don't worry. Do you all know that after passing the challenge points will be awarded if we can rank in the top 3 on the leaderboard? The army will reward us with equipment." Images of shiny, powerful equipment began to appear in his mind. Jiang Kai then added, "I've heard that the army rewards really good gear. It will greatly help the development of new players in the demon realm." He opened his system, looked at the monsters he had collected, and said, "Now we have the strength to kill monsters. And killing monsters can earn points. The more points we have, the better our chances of making it onto the leaderboard." He glanced at Vian Tru and Nuan, smirking as he delivered the final line. "So why don't we go hunt monsters to earn points and then claim rewards from the army?" Vian Tru and Nuan were a bit surprised because they didn't expect Jiang Kai to think like that. A few hours later, night had fallen and the 3 of them still hadn't reached their destination. They were still in the forest searching for monsters. Vian Tru seemed a bit impatient and spoke up with a hint of doubt in his tone. "Kai, is this method of yours really going to earn points?" "I'm not scared at all, but you're making me attract so many little snakes." Standing in the midst of a swarm of baby snakes, their eyes were bloodshot tongues flicking out as if they could pounce on him at any moment. Vian Tru's eyes were slightly misty, his voice trembling. "Is there a chance I might die first?" Jiang Kai perched on a branch, looked down, and replied, "True to be brave. You're a martial artist. Your strength is that you can attack and defend." Next to him, Nuan was also focused. Activating her healing ability, Jiang Kai continued, "Moreover, Nuan can heal us at any time." The swarm of snakes behind Trutu suddenly charged forward. Jiang Kai's voice rang out, "Want to die?" He rushed in, unleashing his power to take down the snakes, then continued, "It's not that easy." 3 snakes were taken down instantly. The system displayed a notification, 3 little snakes defeated. Level 1 current experience is 10 out of 100. Standing amidst the little snakes, he tightened his grip on his weapon, thinking that according to the rules in the demon realm, only those who kill can gain experience from their prey. Since he was currently the only one capable of defeating monsters, everyone decided to let him gain the experience alone first. The snakes opened their mouths wide, their sharp fangs and long tongues lunging toward him. Jiang Kai dove into battle with the snakes, unleashing all his strength to take them down one by one, his thoughts continuing. All right, let me level up first to enhance my strength and ensure the safety of the team. A day later in the forest, Jiang Kai and his group finally managed to wipe out the entire swarm of snakes. All right, let me level up first to boost my strength and ensure safety for Team 5. A day later in the forest, Jiang Kai and his group finally eliminated all the snakes. Exhausted, Jiang Kai slumped down on the ground. A notification popped up. Congratulations, Explorer Jiang Kai. Experience reached 100. Level up to level 2. And activated the double effect. After leveling up, he received double attribute points. Explorer Jiang Kai, Profession Gambler, level 2 with 2. Jiang Kai looked at his attribute display and said, "Killing 6 snakes in one day, I finally made it to level 2. Both Yuan Zhu and Nuan Nuan noticed he had leveled up. They were also excited for him. Nuan Nuan raised her hand in admiration and said, "Jiang Kai, congratulations, you finally leveled up." Yuan Zhu curiously asked, "Come on, tell us what your attributes are after leveling up." Jiang Kai cheerfully replied, "I leveled up and gained 20 attribute points. My total level 2 attributes are now 56 points. It's not bad." The two Nuan Nuan and Vian Tru listened intently. After hearing this, their eyes widened in shock. It sounded like a thunderclap. Vian Tru had to ask again, "How many attribute points did you say?" His eyes were wide open, and he quickly pulled up his attribute display. Looking back at the explorer, Vian Tru, a level 1 martial artist, exclaimed, "Oh my god, I thought leveling up only increased strength, stamina, agility, and mental power like a normal person. Leveling up only grants 10 attribute points, while you got 20 points. Your total attributes are 26 points." Nuan Nuan also opened her attribute panel to take a look. The explorer Nuan Nuan, a level 1 doctor, chimed in, "My total level 2 attributes are 56 points. It seems like I can compete with level 4 now." That's an incredible intensity. Nuan Nuan's total attributes were 12 points. Jiang Kai heard the two of them questioning and explained, "It's just a characteristic of my profession. My profession can double the rewards from leveling up, but the penalties can also double. Everyone, please keep this a secret for me." Nuan Nuan walked closer to Jiang Kai, clapping her hands and saying, "I don't quite understand, but it sounds like your profession is really powerful." Vian Tru added, "Why does yours sound cooler than my martial artist?" Just then, someone named Brain appeared. She said to Jiang Kai, "Players who level up to level 2 will receive a profession skill. However, because of the double activation of the gambler's talent, you will receive 2 skills. Hearing this, Jiang Kai was a bit surprised and replied, "So the skills received at level 2 can also be doubled. Then I now have 2 profession skills." Vian Tru and Nuan Nuan looked even more surprised. Vian Tru exclaimed, "Your skills can be doubled. That's amazing." Brain continued, "That's right. The first profession skill is Demon Card Thrower. This skill depicts an arm holding up a card. Below it, the profession is annotated as Demon Card Thrower. When throwing items, it comes with a 20% piercing effect. When throwing card-type items excluding item cards, the piercing effect increases to 200%, but the mental power consumption increases by 100%. The skill can be upgraded. The second profession skill is Demon Eye Focus. The profession is depicted as an eye with 2 red dots. Demon Eye Focus increases vision and tracking ability by 50%, but mental power consumption increases by 100%. The skill can be upgraded. Jiang Kai looked at the display screen and said, "These are 2 ranged skills, even though I still don't understand how to use them. But it seems like the gambler is quite a suitable profession for me." Jiang Kai continued, "Now I'm stronger. We can go hunt higher level monsters for experience." Nuan Nuan squinted and smiled, nodding. Vian Tru, standing behind, crossed his arms and complained, "This kid is showing off." Scene change. 2 days later, in the observation room in front of a large screen, Lam Lam stood there observing. Professor Lee approached her and said, It's been 2 days. I didn't expect your sister to still be alive." Lam Lam shot him a cold glare and replied, "Is that so?" She smiled wryly and continued, "The newbie team managed to survive. It seems that guy Jiang Kai has some strength." As the two were talking, they suddenly heard hurried footsteps approaching. It turned out to be Officer Lum. He pointed and shouted, "Comrades in charge, pay attention. The newbie training area is in danger. Please be on alert immediately." As soon as he finished speaking, everyone turned to look at him. Officer Lum continued, his face clearly showing concern. "We've detected that Low Country has sent people to cross the border and infiltrate our newbie training area. Moreover, it's a large-scale infiltration, which is quite rare." After he finished speaking, he saw a man walk in and immediately stood at attention to salute him. The man who just entered was the highest commander of the central region, Jiang Trung-Wei-Ung. He paused for a moment and continued, "We must quickly prepare to respond." To Lam Lam couldn't believe her ears. She nervously asked, "Is it really a large-scale foreign infiltration?" Officer Lo Wei-Ung sighed and replied, "If it were fake, I wouldn't be here." To Lam Lam's face turned pale and she thought, "Oh no. The infiltrators from Country L are a group that specializes in killing newbies from other countries to prevent their special professions from developing." Scene transitioned to the training area. Those near the fence shouted encouragement. "Come on, newbies." The newbies replied, "We'll do our best." Just as they finished speaking, bubbles of commentary appeared. Due to the rules of the newbie training, high-level players cannot enter the newbie training area to assist the newbies, so they can only rely on themselves. Because of the rules of the novice trial, high-level players cannot enter the novice trial area to assist newcomers. Therefore, newcomers can only rely on themselves. Through the trials, those invading from the land of fog are different. They can rely on the characteristics of the invaders to enter the new territories of other countries, and those countries cannot resist. Moreover, they use ruthless tactics. They hunt and kill people from other countries, causing them to experience terrifying death memories that evoke a new recruit captured by the invaders. You named Tran Hai had a knife pressed to your throat. You kept crying and pleading for them not to harm you, but it was all in vain. All that was left were the sounds of your desperate screams. Their goal is to terrify the new recruits, torturing them, which significantly limits the number of new players from other countries entering the game. After Tran Hai was brought back, his mind was no longer clear. He kept holding his head in fear, saying, "Even if you kill me, I don't want to go into that cursed game." To Lam Lam clenched her fist tightly. She slammed her fist on the table, speaking loudly in disgust. Gritting her teeth, her face filled with anger, she continued, "No unknown's ability to endure is so weak." Once she encounters those beasts, Wei Ying sighed and said to her, "Prepare psychological counseling for the new recruits. Their large-scale invasion has already begun. Therefore, for this new recruit trial, we must prepare in advance. No one will survive." The three of them, Zhang Kai, were walking together in the forest when suddenly Zhang Kai turned around, his eyes alert, and spoke, "Over there." The master noticed his reaction and asked, "What's wrong, Zhang Kai?" His gaze was cold as he looked in that direction. He held a metal rod in his hand, ready to throw it over there to check what was there. Yuanju and Noan felt nothing. Yuanju spoke up. "Kai, what are you doing?" "We just passed by there," Noan added. "Clearly there's nothing." Zhang Kai was using his cursed eye. His eyes were shining as he continued. "No, it's further away. The cursed eye is transmitting." He gathered strength and threw his metal rod far away. Something was there that his rod flew towards. It had a considerable impact, flying quickly and piercing through several trees. Suddenly, there was a sound coming from afar, and Zhang Kai realized something. He quickly ran towards it, not forgetting to say, "Got it, let's go check it out." The two Yuanju and Noan watched him run off. They didn't understand what was happening. Yuanju voiced his doubts. "Clearly, there's nothing to hit. Is Zhang Kai possessed or something?" In the forest over there, the moonlight shone down on the trees. The metal rod Zhang Kai threw had pierced through a wild boar. When Zhang Kai and the others arrived, they saw the scene before them. A notification from the system appeared. Explorer Zhang Kai has killed a wild beast. Level 2 current experience value 199 out of 200. Yuanju saw the system notification and could only exclaim in awe, "Wow, Zhang Kai, are you like a hawk's eye? How could you see that wild boar from so far away?" Noan also raised her hand to her mouth, her expression still in shock. Moreover, he could even kill a level 2 wild boar. Zhang Kai approached the beast, holding the metal tube in both hands, pulling it out. As he pulled the tube out, he said, "There's nothing to be surprised about. It's all thanks to my new skill." A notification from the system appeared before Zhang Kai. Do you want to collect X, a wild boar corpse segment X19? The wild boar segment can be used as a weapon. Yes. Zhang Kai quickly pressed to select yes. He opened his system to look at the cards he had collected. Is it there? Zhang Kai quickly raised his hand to select yes. He opened his system and looked at the cards he had collected. Right now, in your mind, your skills as a rogue have increased the damage of your bullets by 2 cards at the top of your deck. The rogue's focused eye is like a double telescope, and its special effect slows down, allowing your attack power to strike from even further away. The more precise you are, the more you continue to look at the cards you just collected. Continuing to think means you can now strike from a distance in situations where low-level enemies can't detect you to assassinate them. Zhang Kai looked at the 2 Yuanzhu and Nuan and said to them, "All right, I just need a little more experience to level up to 3 and head to the place where we used to hunt monsters." Hearing him, Nuan just nodded in agreement, while Yuanzhu sighed. "I'm still at level 1. The scene shifts to a stream under the night sky, with the rushing water flowing quietly in the dark. There was a sound. "Our team's luck isn't too bad," said the captain of Team 2. Zhang Kai's trio was unaware of the danger lurking as they crossed the stream. Whispers echoed. "Who would have thought we'd run into a breakfast feast right after arriving?" Something rose above the water's surface, making a sound. Now a group of people emerged from the stream. Their leader was Zhang Chua, who said, "Looks like we have some toys now." Zhang Kai turned around alert. He stood in front of Nuan and loudly asked, "Who are you?" Zhang Chua slowly drew a knife from behind his back and said, "Don't be scared, little buddy. We're not bad people." He and his companion smiled wickedly at Zhang Kai's trio. His voice was filled with madness. "We just want to rip open your chests, hang them up and let your blood dry, or use you as bait for some beasts so you can die slowly." After saying that, they laughed loudly and slowly surrounded Zhang Kai's trio. One of them emerged from the water, lifting his head and holding up his hat. In short, this time there was only one target. Zhang Kai looked at him with a mix of horror and curiosity, glancing at the figure who appeared wearing a mask. The mask had a sharp beak. His eyes sparkled. He was the Crowbeak, the captain of Team 2 of the smugglers. He stepped onto the shore and continued, "We just want the new recruits from the Holy Miracle." "You all have no way to pass the trial," Nuan said, her eyes filled with fear as she recognized these people and spoke up. "Kai, these guys. I know them. They seem to be smugglers who specialize in killing newcomers." Both Zhang Kai and Yuanzhu turned to look at her in shock. Yuanzhu shouted, "What?" Nuan opened her watch and images of the smugglers appeared. "I can even check their levels. They're all level 3 and above, with the highest being even level 5. Thinking of this high-level group made her mind go blank. Zhang Kai gritted his teeth, his gaze sharp as he thought, "There are too many of them. And there's even a level 5 explorer. With my total strength, I can handle level 4, but level 5. Zhang Kai's train of thought was interrupted by a voice. Crowbeak, with a murderous gaze, said, "Brothers, let's begin." "Not necessarily," Zhang Kai thought bitterly. "I can only do this." Zhang Kai turned and ran, reminding Juzi and Nuan. "Juzi, Nuan, you two form a group and temporarily split up." Juzi and Nuan, hearing this, ran while responding, "What understood?" Crowbeak and his teammates smirked at this. Crowbeak mocked, "Looks like you have to share both fortune and misfortune. Is this how the Holy Miracle treats its people?" His eyes turned red as he ordered his subordinates. "You two rush in and kill the one who's running alone. The other two will be left for our large army to torture." Slowly, his two subordinates replied in unison, "Understood." The two, the Ripper and the Chain Eye, had both reached level 3. After saying that, they chased after Zhang Kai. The chase began. The Chain Eye and Ripper followed Zhang Kai from one forest to another, laughing joyfully as they pursued him. "That little brat runs really fast." Ripper replied, "But he'll be caught soon enough." The Jagged Teeth replied to him, "But they would soon be caught anyway." To everyone's surprise, Zhang Kai had vanished from the sight of these two. In an instant, Zhang Kai's figure was nowhere to be seen, and the jagged-toothed guy widened his eyes in shock. This guy had no choice but to stop and carefully observe everything around him. The jagged-toothed guy and the chain-eyed guy turned their backs to each other, each looking in a different direction. Then Zhang Kai spoke up. "Hey kid, you want to play hide and seek with us?" The chain-eyed guy chimed in, clearly excited. "Just wait until we find you. First, we'll break both your legs." Suddenly, a metal pipe shot out from Jiang Kai's direction at lightning speed. The chain-eyed guy drew his sword, his voice filled with excitement. "Does this little brat want to fight back? But I don't even need to worry about the attacks from those new recruits." With that, a beam of light shot forward, and before the chain-eyed guy could react, he was sent flying away. The jagged-toothed guy witnessed his teammate being thrown 100 meters away and still couldn't comprehend what had just happened. He immediately asked, "Why did you fly away? What's going on?" But when he looked back, he could only stare in disbelief. His pupils shrank as he saw the chain-eyed guy slumped against a tree, his hands hanging limply pierced through by a metal pipe. "Is he dead? How can that be?" Jiang Kai stepped out from the forest, letting out a light chuckle. "One hit, one kill. Is this what you call a surprise attack?" Jiang Kai's gaze was filled with confidence. He was still holding 3 feathers he had collected from the wild boar he had killed earlier. He spoke up. "Seems like you're not as strong as I thought, huh?" The jagged-toothed guy had to check his watch, stammering, "You're a newbie from the Holy Order, right? How could you kill that level 3 guy?" He looked at Jiang Kai's information on the screen, which displayed a warning. Critical hit rate unknown. Fatal critical hit unknown. At that moment, the jagged-toothed guy trembled, pointing at Jiang Kai. "What, I have only 45 attribute points as a level 3. This newbie has 60 points. How is that possible?" Jiang Kai replied, "Why wouldn't it be possible?" Just as Jiang Kai finished speaking, he charged in to attack the jagged-toothed guy, catching him off guard. It was too fast. The jagged-toothed guy had already knelt down before Jiang Kai, his mouth mumbling incoherently. Seeing both of them had been taken down, Jiang Kai stood still for a moment thinking, "Success. My total attributes are equivalent to level 4, so of course I can take down a level 3. Just now I was running to separate their strength to make it easier to strike. Now I'm just a little short of reaching level 3. Besides, from what I knew back on Earth, as long as I kill an explorer, I can." He hadn't finished his thought when, "Hey, Brain!" a voice interrupted. "You have successfully eliminated an explorer. You can take the watch of the killed one. Moreover, before the explorer's body disappears, you can confirm and gain experience from the explorer. You have killed 2 level 3 explorers, each worth 100 points. Whatever you gain, the others will lose double." Hearing this, Jiang Kai's face lit up with excitement. So it really is possible to steal experience, plus the experience from killing explorers is way more than from killing monsters. So I only get 100 points from each of them. "Hey Brain," confirmed, and then disappeared. The system notification appeared again. "Congratulations, you have leveled up to level 3. Jiang Kai excitedly looked at his information panel. "Finally, I've reached level 3. On the display panel, the Explorer information showed Jiang Kai a level 3 gambler. He walked over to the chain-eyed guy and the jagged-toothed guy, bending down to take their watches. He murmured to himself, "Now my total attributes are 76 points. On the display board, Explorer Jiang Kai Profession Gambler, level 3. He walked towards the red-eyed and Jiang, bowing to take the watch from their hands. He mumbled to himself, "Now my total attributes are already 76 points. This new year Jiang Kai had about 60 points in his hand, gripping a metal pipe. His gaze was resolute as he walked and spoke. "Now I have enough strength to go back and save the pillars." On the side of the pillar, Non and the other person weren't in good shape. The pillar was injured blood, continuously flowing from his arm, and Nuan's clothes were torn to shreds. Han sat one of the pursuers after the pillar, and Nuan saw the two of them in such a disheveled state. He spoke up. "A martial artist and a nurse, I never expected to encounter 2 professionals." Saint Hui, standing beside him, laughed and added, "What a tasty profession." Another guy, holding his sword, looked at Nuan treating the pillar and smirked. "You all just take your time to grind them down." Nuan was treating the pillar when she, with tears welling up, asked, "Pillar Kai was ambushed by 2 assassins. Is he really not coming back?" The pillar gritted his teeth, enduring the pain as he replied, "He will definitely come back." Normally, he was a bit of a ladies' man, but in battle, a gaze from the forest was observing the group pursuing the pillar. The pillar looked at the intruders surrounding him. In his mind, he thought, but if his friends or loved ones were in danger, even if it was hopeless? His crow spoke up, cutting through the pillar's thoughts. Those tricks are getting old. This time, let's skin them alive, Hansat replied. The pillar's thoughts continued. He thought of Jiang Kai. He would definitely show up. Suddenly, Jiang Kai burst from the forest like a gust of wind. He emitted blue lightning, launching something toward the group of intruders. Two of the intruders moved closer, intending to deal with the pillar and Nuan. They were struck by something that pierced through their heads before they could react. Nuan witnessed the scene before her, recognizing what had just pierced the heads of the two intruders. That thing. The pillar smiled and said, I knew he would come back. The crow was also a bit surprised by this scene. He spoke, Who is it? Did you sneak back just now? If you have the guts, come face me. In the middle of the big forest, the crow turned to search, but found no movement or shadow. He could only stand still, feeling a bit scared, his pupils contracting as he thought. I can't see anything. I have no idea where he is. Could it be that the holy wine has a new profession for newbies? If not... He instinctively turned to run. The pillar and Nuan saw the crow's fleeing actions. The two were taken aback. Nuan involuntarily exclaimed, The captain is running. From the dark night, a figure appeared. It was Jiang Kai holding a metal pipe. You think you can torment my brother and run away? His eyes were filled with rage. Leave your life here for me. With that, Jiang Kai hurled the metal pipe at the crow. Jiang Kai's pipe pierced straight through him, creating an explosion. The crow barely had time to scream before collapsing to the ground, the area now shrouded in smoke. The bodies of the intruders lay scattered on the ground. Jiang Kai staggered out from the forest, approaching Nuan while asking, Have these bandits been dealt with? Nuan, are you okay? Nuan looked at him, her eyes brimming with tears. You finally came back. She moved to throw herself into Jiang Kai's arms, her voice trembling. But Pillar, he's seriously injured. I can't treat him anymore. The pillar lay motionless on the ground. His body was covered in wounds, blood flowing in streams. He opened his eyes to look at Jiang Kai and said, Kai, I knew you would come back, but this time, I might not see you guys again. With that, he collapsed, uttering 3 words before falling silent. The pillar lay on the ground. Nuan sat next to him, trembling as he pointed towards Jiang Kai, his voice weak. Kai, Nuan. The time spent with the two of you was the best memory I have. From now on, you both have to carry my part too. His eyes slowly closed. He tried to say one last thing. You have to push through this trial. Hearing him say that, Nuan burst into tears, calling out to him, True to Ka. Jiang Kai stepped forward, looking down, his fists clenched, calling out, True to. Suddenly, he threw an intruder onto True to, mumbling, What are you doing here? Nuan, sitting beside him, was startled and stopped crying. Being pinned down, Vientru groaned in pain, shouting, Who the hell are you? He looked bewildered at the person still alive in front of him. Jiang Kai explained, I meant to pull 6 of them away, just to injure them. You two kill them to gain experience and level up. That way your health will be fully restored. After hearing Jiang Kai, Nuan nodded. Right, in the demon realm, you can gain experience by killing explorers. Vientru, not expecting this, asked, Is that really a thing? Am I being bullied right now? Jiang Kai spoke half-heartedly and then stopped. So that's what you're doing. He smiled, narrowing his eyes, and changed the subject. Weren't they torturing you earlier? Then now we can torture them back. We can use our left hand for the last hit. Vientru and Nuan, after hearing this, both laughed wickedly and said in unison, Let's show them what the heavenly principle of reincarnation is. One of the guys lying on the ground struggled, and Vientru, with a gleeful laugh, said, Kai, this isn't going to be good. The 3 of them, Jiang Kai, Vientru, and Nuan, looked at the guy on the ground with cunning eyes. Jiang Kai laughed loudly, Not good. In the Holy He, we call this a return gift. This is a beautiful tradition that we must uphold. Vientru extended his hand toward the intruder. If this is a beautiful tradition, then I must uphold it seriously. He sat up, screaming at the demons, Don't you dare come over here! Scene change at this moment. In the Data Research Institute of the Management Bureau for Intruders, alarms blared continuously and screams echoed in the room. This is terrifying. It's so scary. A group of people woke up, their spirits unstable, shouting nonstop. Laman held his head in fear. Earlier, someone new came to the Holy Hui and killed all of us. He was too ruthless with us. Hansat woke up, sweat dripping from his forehead, shouting, "My experience points were stolen. My level has dropped." In the observation room, 2 men stood watching the screen. One was Huang Kai, the high-ranking leader of Lo Quok, who couldn't believe his eyes at the scene. He spoke up. "What is going on here? How did you all end up like this? Could it be that a new profession has appeared in the Holy He that can counter intruders?" At the same time, in the Holy He in the observation room, Professor Lee was urgently speaking into his tablet. "Not good. The evaluation data from Nuan Nuan's watch just sent back to her team. They must have encountered the intruders." Tolamlam, hearing him, felt extremely worried for her sister. What Nuan Nuan is okay, right? The eagle is also there. He held the glass of water in his hand, nodded, and calmly said, "So far, no new person has been able to escape from the group of scammers. Just prepare yourself for their deaths." Professor Lee, hearing him say that, quickly explained, "No, that's not what I meant." He looked at the data on the large screen and continued, "What I mean is, according to the displayed data, Nuan Nuan and her group did encounter the scammers but didn't die. Moreover, they even leveled up." Tolamlam and the eagle were wide-eyed in astonishment. "Lam Lam, what are you talking about?" The eagle frowned, confused. "How can that be? They encountered them and didn't die, but leveled up. Could it be that those scammers helped her kill the monsters?" It's decent." Professor Lee reviewed the data on the tablet multiple times as if confirming before speaking up. "It's not that Nuan Nuan leveled up. I can reluctantly believe that it's because she killed the monsters. But according to the displayed data, she leveled up by 2 levels. Everyone didn't notice this, which only leaves one possibility." Both the eagle and Tolamlam were shocked, exclaiming together, "Nuan Nuan. They killed those scammers." The glass of water in the commander's hand fell to the ground, spilling its contents. Lam Lam called out, "Commander!" The eagle stood up and said loudly, "Quick, show me the data for Nuan Nuan's team." Immediately, Professor Lee responded, "Yes, sir." After saying that, he quickly opened the data on the tablet for the commander to see. The information for the trio Jiang Kai, Nuan Nuan, and Vian Tru appeared on the large screen. Name Jiang Kai, level unknown, profession unknown. Name To Nuan Nuan, level 3, profession doctor. Name Vian Tru, level 3, profession warrior. The eagle smiled joyfully. So she really leveled up to 3. If they didn't kill those scammers, there's no way she could have leveled up 2 levels in such a short time. Tolamlam still couldn't believe it, her voice filled with doubt. This is impossible. Nuan Nuan has a profession that can't fight. The damage of a warrior in the early stages isn't high. Could it be that those scammers were all defeated by Jiang Kai? Osvia. That's really absurd. The eagle laughed heartily. I firmly believe it was Jiang Kai, but why is his profession still unknown? What is going on? Professor Lee looked at the tablet in his hand and speculated. I found some news about Jiang Kai. The reason for the uncertainty is that every explorer in the demon realm must carry a watch to update information. However, Jiang Kai is using a first-generation watch, the oldest one. He projected an image of the watch for everyone to see. The first-generation watch was the first watch used in the demon realm. He continued to analyze, but the server for the first-generation watch has been down for over 15 years, and connecting to the network has become very difficult. That's why. We can't access his information. Tolamlam, unable to believe it, exclaimed, What are you talking about? What era are we in? And yet someone is using a first-generation watch. The eagle, hearing this, also chimed in, That's quite impressive. It's interesting. Tolamlam then requested Professor Lee, quickly bring me all the documents about Jiang Kai. I want to find out what kind of character that kid is. Wei Ying, hearing this, also spoke up. That's quite impressive. It sounds interesting. Tolamlam then requested, Professor Lee, please bring me all the materials about Jiang Kai. I want to find out what kind of character that kid is. He received the notification and immediately responded, turning to the group of people. Jiang Kai looked at his information panel, feeling incredibly excited as he exclaimed, Wow, I can't believe I actually leveled up and revived with full health. Nuan Nuan also opened her information panel so happy that she unconsciously clenched her fists. I can't believe I did too. she exclaimed, while True examined his new skills and joyfully cheered like a child. Plus, I have a new skill called Ground Slam. Now I can knock back enemies around me really hard. As the Ground Slam skill activated, Non reached out to touch her notification screen. The skill has been unlocked. Doctor's Heart, she happily announced. I activated the Doctor's Heart skill too. Now my healing ability is even stronger. Genkai saw how joyful they were. He put his hand on his chin, thinking, then said, "No. Tiger is the skill for warriors and doctors. Very practical." True stepped up in front of Genkai and said, "No kidding, Genkai, you see I'm still one level higher than you. Now I can take down border crossers like you." Hearing True say that, Genkai opened his information panel for them to see, pondering something. "You think being level 3 means you can take down border crossers. I'm level 4 now. Check my stats." After seeing Genkai's information panel, True's eyes nearly popped out. He gasped, "Huh?" True raised both hands to his head, his expression as if everything was insane. "Dude, when did you level up to 4? Weren't you just level 2? Nuan's eyes sparkled with admiration as she added, "And your total attribute points are 96. That's equivalent to an explorer at level 8. Genkai looked at them and calmly replied, "Earlier, when I was running away, I took down a border crosser and leveled up to 3. Then I killed 5 more when I got back, which is how I reached level 4. After hearing this, True's face was filled with disbelief as he shouted, "Why are you so flashy? I can't take it anymore." Non stepped in front of Genkai and asked, "Kai, what do we do next?" He looked at her and said, "Next." He paused for a moment before making a decision. "Earlier, I heard that captain say they are the second border crossing team. So, next. Are we just going to take down the first team?" As soon as he finished speaking, both True and Nuan were shocked, exclaiming, "Huh." Half a day later, somewhere in the forest of the newbie zone, a group of people was wandering around. Someone's loud laughter echoed, "What a joke!" In the forest, a group of somewhat savage-looking individuals was talking. One person hanging from a branch spoke up. "The second team was wiped out by those newbies. I can't believe it." The one standing below with spiky hair and sharp teeth chimed in, "Yeah, if that's the case, let's retire them for good." This guy's name is Jian An, a member of the first border crossing team at level 5. He was a tall man with a tattoo on his arm and a scar on his cheek. He reminded everyone not to be careless. "If the higher-ups have mentioned this, we should be a bit cautious." His name is Thiet Ba, the captain of the first border crossing team at level 5. His tone carried a hint of disdain. "Cautious about what? The newbie zone is only level 5, and our whole team is level 5. Here we kill gods when we meet them and kill Buddhas when we meet them." Another person chimed in, "Exactly." Meanwhile, Genkai's group of 3 was hiding in the shadows, observing this group of people. The pillar squatted on the ground, watching them leave. His voice was a bit hesitant. "You don't mean it, do you, Kai? You really want to take on those 9 smugglers?" Nuan is scared too. She spoke up to advise, "Maybe we should just go." Genkai hid behind a tree, still observing this group of people. He gently reassured, "Don't be afraid. With my current skills, even if I don't know everything, protecting you guys while retreating shouldn't be a problem. Besides, we're not killing them. They will strike at our new people." As soon as he finished speaking, Jiang Kai rushed out. His hands gripped his iron pipe tightly. While running, he said, "So instead of being passively defensive, we should strike first." Before True and Nuan could react, they saw Kai charging out. They shouted loudly. He turned his head to look back, his eyes full of vigilance. Seeing someone rushing toward him, he clenched his fist and reminded his group, "Be careful, there's someone." This group also turned to look. Jian An opened his watch to check Jiang Kai's information and smirked. "Check it out. Looks like a level 4 newcomer," he said cautiously. "Just surviving here as a level 4 is already impressive. How did he level up? Could he be the one who killed Team 2? Hearing this, Thiet Ba grinned wickedly. "Not bad, this is a big discovery." He immediately waved his hand. "Order everyone in the group to maintain formation and pursue. Capturing him will be a great achievement." A crowd of people charged forward, responding in excitement. He nodded. Jiang Kai ran ahead to lure them in. He turned to look back, furrowing his brow in thought. Not good, the smugglers are maintaining their formation. The previous plan was for me to lure the enemy first, waiting for True 2 to find the right moment to strike and knock them all away. I would seize the opportunity to take them out. But the smugglers' formation is too long. If True 2 can't knock them away in one go, Zhang Kai kept running, while thinking with the intruders still chasing behind. At this rate, if I leave a few smugglers behind, they might escape. But even so, we have a countermeasure. Suddenly, Zhang Kai stopped running. He thought further. If I want to wipe out all the smugglers. He braked with his foot turned around and pressed one hand to the ground, channeling all his strength into the iron pipe in his hand. As he raised it, he charged straight toward the group chasing him. Blue lightning enveloped his entire body as he rushed toward the smugglers. He made a bold decision, realizing he might need to use everything he had to lure Gian-an and Hakan, who were leading the chase. Seeing Zhang Kai charging back toward him, the two standing guard were stunned, unable to believe their eyes. They wondered why this guy was turning back. They saw Zhang Kai with the iron pipe getting closer just a few steps away. Jianan lunged forward with a knife, laughing maniacally. "Where do you think you're running, kid? Are you so scared you can't even run anymore?" He swung the knife, slashing across Zhang Kai's arm. With a face full of arrogance, he snapped back. "You think you can take me down?" The blade struck, causing blood to splatter everywhere. Zhang Kai gritted his teeth, enduring the pain. He let out a grunt, thinking, not close enough yet. Zhang Kai turned and ran again. "Hey, don't run!" he shouted, seeing the smugglers had seemingly gathered in one spot. Zhang Kai thought, they're all grouped up. Hakan raised a knife and said, "Skin him alive." Zhang Kai charged toward the group of Hakan, thinking it still wasn't close enough. He skillfully dodged every attack from the Hakan. Thietba, witnessing the scene, shouted, "What are you doing?" But it was too late. Zhang Kai was already upon him, charging with the iron pipe. He suddenly broke out in a cold sweat. Level 5, how can these level 4 kids dodge all those attacks? Hakan finally opened his watch to check again, then shouted, "Captain, something's wrong." He looked at the warning flashing on the screen and continued, "At first, the time was too short, so I couldn't check his attributes. But just now, I just used the advanced measurement to check again, and I found that although I couldn't clearly see his total attributes, I can now see his agility." Zhang Kai charged in his body, enveloped in streams of blue light, his eyes shining brightly as he moved. The image rang out almost within 30 points. Thietba, hearing this, was utterly shocked. Stuttering, "What 30 points in agility?" Zhang, hearing this, turned around and shouted angrily, "You must be mistaken. My agility isn't even at 20. If he's much higher than me, how can I block him?" Thietba was stunned, raising his hand defensively as he watched Zhang Kai pass one person after another. He thought it was wrong. The clock was very hard to predict. If that kid is really that agile, then isn't he just pretending to be chased by us? Thietba then realized he had been tricked. He shouted loudly, "No, we've fallen into a trap. Quickly scatter." The group under his command stood there stunned. One of them exclaimed, "What, Zhang Kai is standing in the middle of the crowd, breaking through." His eyes lit up. He snorted coldly and said, "You fools, you finally noticed. But now your formation has been tricked into a mess by me." At this moment, trying to escape, he hadn't finished his sentence when a bolt of golden lightning appeared above the crowd. Zhang Kai continued, "It's too late now." It was Yuanju diving down from above. The crowd below was gathering, and the golden light power bound his body. Yuanju unleashed a ground-shaking kick. Immediately, a huge explosion occurred, sending the crowd flying away. They barely had time to scream. Zhang Kai saw this and smirked. "Well done, master." Next, Zhang Kai unleashed arcs of blue electricity from his hands, wielding short blades, as he had used to eliminate members of the second smuggling team. Zhang Kai pressed on after Yuanju's strike running, while saying, "Leave it to me." Just as he finished speaking, the first smuggling team's members lay scattered on the ground. Zhang Kai stopped, and the sparks on his body gradually faded away. He let out a breath, having cleared everything in one go. Yuanju, seeing this, screamed frantically, "Heavens, 9 level 5 people were all killed. Kai, you're too monstrous." At this moment, the system sent another notification to Zhang Kai. Adventurer Zhang Kai has killed 5 level 5 poachers. Total experience gained 2,000. Zhang Kai's experience topped the novice area, leveling up to the highest level, level 5. He looked at his information board and smiled softly. Finally made it to level 5. He thought to himself, killing one high-level adventurer gives one more level, but the experience gained is double. As a level 5 adventurer, can I really gain 400 experience? Nuan looked at Jiang Kai, unable to contain her admiration, gasping, "Wow, Kai, you're level 5 now. I heard that the 5th level in the Tanthu village is the highest." The guy also added, "You're at the top now." Jiang Kai turned around and replied calmly, "It's nothing. People take risks to kill and gain experience, that's all." He looked at the 4 survivors lying weakly on the ground and said, "I'll leave 4 of them with just a bit of blood left. You guys should finish them off and grab the experience." Nuan agreed immediately upon hearing that. The guy also spoke up asking, "Kai, what are you going to do next?" Jiang Kai looked into the distance and said, "First, to enhance our combat power, I'll take out the monsters to gain points for upgrades. I've already taken out enough. I'll lead you guys to take down the monsters and earn points. By the time you've gathered enough points, we'll be at the final spot." Nuan and the guy listened eagerly. They were both very excited, and Nuan smiled, saying, "Sure." The guy was also full of confidence. He touched his muscular arm and said, "Finally, it's our turn to kill some monsters." The 3 of them, Jiang Kai, the guy, and Nuan, after defeating the group of smugglers, continued their journey to hunt monsters in the forest, with Jiang Kai leading the way. He reminded everyone be careful here. Near the destination, we might score a lot of points, but the closer we get to the end, the scarier the monsters become. There might even be a boss in the Tanthu area. We must be cautious. Jiang Kai led the way while the guy brought up the rear, both of them alert to everything around them. Nuan followed behind Jiang Kai, nodding in agreement. Suddenly, the 3 of them were startled by the sight before them, frozen in fear. A monstrous creature with a human face lay dead on the ground, its body mangled eyes bulging out in a horrifying way. Seeing the creature, Nuan stammered in fear, "It's a corpse of a human-faced beast." The guy couldn't hold back and added, "It has many bite marks on it." "Was it killed by something?" Jiang Kai calmly activated his special eyes to observe. His special ability revealed strange characters for a moment. While looking at the human-faced beast on the ground, he said, "Earlier I saw a golden light from afar. It seems a golden monster killed these 2 human-faced beasts." "What?" Nuan asked about the golden creature. The 3 of them were unaware that something was silently watching them from behind. Suddenly, a surge of golden power appeared. The guy still hadn't realized what was right behind him. He kept talking. "What kind of creature could kill 2 human-faced monsters? It's not targeting us, is it?" Suddenly, a ball shot out with lightning bolts, attacking Nuan and Jiang Kai. Without time to dodge, they were hit. Nuan could only cry out in pain. "What is that?" The guy tried to raise his hand to shield himself. He forced one eye open and shouted, "It's golden! It's a golden creature! It's really targeting us!" After attacking the 2, it charged towards Jiang Kai. At that moment, he stood still, not reacting. He just widened his eyes to observe. The guy clutched his injured arm in pain and yelled, "Kai, be careful! That thing deals a lot of damage. Be careful not to get bitten to death." Jiang Kai dropped the metal pipe in his hand and reached for that golden light. Nuan and the guy watched in shock. One looked worried, while the other was bewildered. They both stared at Jiang Kai, who stood frozen for a few seconds, realizing he had caught something with his bare hands. One person looked worried, another was confused, and 2 of them were staring at Jiang Kai. Jiang Kai also froze for a few seconds because he had just caught something barehanded. So it turns out there's a chubby mouse being held tightly by Jiang Kai. Yuanju was stunned, wondering how it could be so fast, yet Jiang Kai Noan covered her mouth and continued speaking. "Caught barehanded." Jiang Kai looked at the mouse in his hand and said, "Oh, you guys think it's really fast, huh? Isn't it just a fat little mouse?" The mouse Jiang Kai was holding shouted angrily, "You scoundrel! Who are you cursing? I'm just slow and fat." "Being caught by you was just a mistake on my part." Jiang Kai looked at it, cursing him, and just smiled lightly. This mouse is really not having it. "Well, let me just say," he said as he loosened his grip and let the mouse go. "Let's see if you can escape." Suddenly, its eyes emitted a powerful golden light, and it opened its mouth wide. Shouting, "How dare you look down on me!" It charged at Jiang Kai with electric sparks. Seeing this, Yuanju covered his head with both hands and screamed loudly. "Zhang Kai kid, what are you doing? That thing can bite and kill 2 human-faced monsters." Zhang Kai caught the mouse again with his bare hands and then let it go, casually saying, "It's too slow for me." He kept repeating the action. Catching the mouse and then letting it go, he played with it in his hands. Yuanju watched his face stiff with tension. Is Zhang Kai really that fast? Nuan covered her mouth with her hand, her face filled with admiration, praising him for being so good. After a few minutes of catching the mouse, the little mouse finally raised the white flag and surrendered obediently, lying in Zhang Kai's hand. The little mouse submitted to Zhang Kai, looking calm in his hand. He spoke up. "This mouse has given up on running away." Vientru saw the obedient mouse in his hand. Zhang Kai was also taken aback. "You caught a pet just by your hand speed." The 3 of them turned to look at the 2 monster corpses lying on the ground. Zhang Kai then said, "I wonder if this mouse can be tamed to become a combat force." But finding the 2 monster corpses is still a good deal. Zhang Kai placed the little mouse on his shoulder. He looked at Nuan and Vientru and continued, Nuan, you guys are just a bit short of FB to level up to 4. Each person should catch 1 and continue hunting monsters, trying to level up before the trial ends." Nuan saw the chubby mouse on Zhang Kai's shoulder. Her eyes lit up as she nodded and said, "So cute." Vientru, looking quite dejected, spoke up. "Compared to Zhang Kai, a martial artist like me is nothing." The scene shifted to a deep forest. A man was taking careful steps, relying on his instincts as he walked. He wore a green cloak that covered his face, revealing only a bit of hair. He seemed to see something ahead, smiling broadly and exclaiming, "Finally here." After such a long time, he finally reached the end of the novice area. In front of him was a huge castle. This was the Holy Miracle City. He stepped up the stairs one by one. As he approached, the castle doors opened and a group of people holding spears slowly walked out. 3 people descended the stairs and approached the cloaked man. The leader stepped forward to greet him. "Congratulations on passing the trial. We are the guides for newcomers. Welcome, you are officially a demon hunter now." This person was the guide for newcomers, Ha Dao. Ha Dao placed a hand on his shoulder to comfort him. "But unfortunately, someone has already taken the first place." "But rankings aren't important. Just passing the trial is already impressive," Ha Dao said. As he finished speaking, the guy shrugged off Ha Dao's hand from his shoulder and scoffed. "I'm definitely not the first to arrive here." He raised his hand to show the cards he had collected. His voice was full of self-satisfaction. "But what makes you think I'm not first?" The 3 of them were astonished to see how many cards he had. The person behind Ha Dao was Ha Vi. He spoke up. "What the ranking is based on points. Having so many monster cards can exchange for a lot of points." Ha Dao chimed in. "Someone like you can kill so many monsters." At this moment, he slowly pulled down the hood of his cloak, laughing arrogantly. "I'm the 2nd young master of the Huang family. I'm a high-level member of the Huyanvu Guild. Before I came to the Demon Realm, I was specially trained." The 2nd young master of the Huang family. Hearing this, Ha Dao was even more astonished. He confirmed what the Huang family owns the Huyanvu Guild. Havai also chimed in. "The Huyanvu Guild is one of the top 10 major guilds. It's not surprising that it's a big family." Ha Dao turned to congratulate him. "Well, congratulations to you. In terms of points, you are not only the first in this trial, but you might even be in the top 10 of the Holy Brew." Huang Vi spread his arms wide, looking up at the sky and laughing heartily. "Today, I, Huang Vi, am just chilling here. Getting first place in the trial is just the first step for newcomers. Next, just give me some time in the Demon Realm, and it will become the era of Huang Vi." The scene shifted deep into the trial area. Zhang Kai's novice group was still continuing to search for monsters in the forest, walking all day without seeing a single monster. Zhang Kai felt puzzled. "It's strange, we've been walking all day, and logically, the closer we get to the destination, the more monsters there should be. Why haven't we encountered any?" Zhang Kai glanced back over his shoulder and continued, "Is it possible that this mouse scared them all away?" "You're not scared off by this mouse, are you? How could this happen?" Nuan walked behind him, only paying attention to the chubby little mouse sleeping on Zhang Kai's hat. That little mouse was so adorable. Suddenly, a loud noise echoed. This sound made Zhang Kai and the others turn around, looking back at something that made them a bit scared. A sharp claw appeared on the ground. Jankai widened his eyes and exclaimed, "This is the Shadow Wolf!" A pack of fierce wolves was advancing towards the three of them. At that moment, a gigantic wolf stepped forward, its foot just landing. It released a wave of green energy. The massive wolf had gray and white fur with a scar over one eye. This was the boss of the novice area, the Shadow Wolf King. The three of them, Jiangkai, Nuan Nuan, and Vientru, stood back to back. Their expressions shifted from surprise to a pale shade. Jankai recognized the wolf and shouted loudly, "We're done for. This is the boss of the novice area, the Shadow Wolf King. It turns out there are no monsters. We've just barged into the boss's territory." The pack of wolves had now surrounded them. The three of them shouted in unison, "We're surrounded!" Vientru looked at Jankai, his eyes glistening with tears, and said, "Jankai, I heard the Wolf King is the strongest creature that has never been defeated in the novice area. If we encounter it, there's only one way out, death. What do we do now?" Jankai tightened his grip on the iron pipe he was holding, thinking, "There are too many wolves here. If I'm surrounded alone, I can run away. But the others can't. Then we can only fight to the death." After thinking this through, he charged forward and shouted to the two who were still frozen in place, "True to Nuan Nuan, we can't run away. We have to kill the Wolf King. Only then can we break through the encirclement. Let's work together to kill the Wolf King." Hearing Jankai, the two agreed. Jankai rushed ahead. Vientru used his strength, striking hard against the ground. "Watch me." Vientru's strike immediately caused a huge explosion. A bolt of energy from his punch shot straight up into the sky, shaking the ground. The wolves were knocked back by Vientru's attack. Seeing this, Jankai praised him. "Great job controlling it, True too." Jankai then continued to give orders to Nuan Nuan. "Nuan Nuan, add the snake venom to my weapon." She obeyed and began to extract the poison, replying, "Got it." It was Jiangkai's turn. He used two skills at once, shouting, "Now watch me, Demon Eye Focus, Demon Hand Throw." Jankai unleashed a massive wave of light energy. With one strike, Jankai sent it straight towards the Wolf King. The wolf let out a howl, baring its teeth, and growling, glaring at Jankai's group with anger. The three of them, Nuan Nuan, Vientru, and Jankai, gasped in fear. Jankai shouted, "What? It can't be pierced through the Wolf King's defense." The Wolf King bared its sharp teeth. It charged towards the three of them. The other wolves, seeing this, also bared their teeth, their sharp fangs lunging at them. Jankai and his group were attacked by the pack of wolves. Nuan was injured and stammered, "This isn't good. The Wolf King is commanding the pack to launch a full attack on us." Vientru, using his strong arms, tried to separate one of the wolves. While defending, he said, "Jankai, attacking the Wolf King isn't effective. Is there another way?" Jankai was no better off. He was also struggling against the wolves. He began to think, "I can't defend myself. The Wolf King is too strong right now." The pack of wolves surrounded him, making it impossible to kill them all. Suddenly, the chubby mouse on Jiangkai's hat stirred, waking up. It squeaked loudly, "Get out of the way," as it looked at the wolves charging towards it. Its face scrunched up in anger. Quickly, it found the culprit, those wolves. Jankai was still doing his best to fend off the pack. At that moment, the little mouse was furious. It started to ignite, its teeth clenched tightly together. This was the egg of a fierce sleep. Immediately, the little mouse charged out with all its might. The golden light rushed forward to attack and take down the pack of wolves. It opened its mouth, wide eyes blazing with anger, breathing fire as it lunged to bite the Wolf King. The Wolf King, bitten and torn, could only roar in response. Jankai saw this. He was astonished, thinking about how that mouse had torn the Wolf King's skin. Realizing this, he immediately activated his demon eye, focusing intently. He quickly spotted the wounds on the wolf's body. The king turned back, pondering, did this mouse really inflict a wound? All right, earlier the Wolf King's defense was too high, so the attack failed. But now that the Wolf King's skin is torn, all I need to do is attack the wound. Jankai's train of thought was interrupted as he held the mouth of a wolf tightly, his other hand immediately executing his skill. He poured all his strength into the iron pipe, launching it toward the Wolf King. At this moment, his thoughts resumed. The Wolf King's defense would be ineffective, and the iron pipe struck the Wolf King. It made it howl in pain. The little mouse on its back also fell to the ground. Seeing it was effective, Jiang Kai immediately activated his next skill. He shot out 3 short segments while thinking, indeed it worked. Now he just needed to continue using his focused demon eye to attack. He was sure he could. Under Jiang Kai's relentless attacks, the Wolf King was wounded, blood staining its fur red. Jiang Kai unleashed his final blow, causing the Wolf King to explode with a critical hit of 200 times. The explosion was so massive that Nuan and the pillar also had to look. Nuan raised one hand to shield her eyes and said, "What Jiang Kai used a single strike." The pillar added, "He killed the Shadow Wolf King." Jiang Kai stood frozen in place as the system notification appeared again. Congratulations, Explorer Jiang Kai, for defeating the boss of the novice area, the Shadow Wolf King. Jiang Kai couldn't believe his eyes. He thought to himself, I originally wanted to fight long. The result activated a critical hit of 200 times. How could that be right? It's been so long since I triggered a critical hit. Now that it exploded once, that's normal. The pack of wolves, seeing their king had fallen, immediately retreated like headless snakes. The wolves turned and fled in disarray. Nuan noticed and immediately spoke up. Jiang Kai, look at the pack of wolves. They seem to want to run. Jiang Kai then asked the two, Nuan, can you still fight? Both answered in unison, yes. Jiang Kai replied, That's good. After saying that he felt invigorated and charged forward, now that the Wolf King was no longer leading this pack of wolves was just fish on a chopping board. The pillar gritted his teeth, recalling how they had dealt with them earlier. The 3 of them shouted, Don't let them get away. Together they charged toward the pack of wolves, coordinating perfectly. Jiang Kai and the pillar attacked, while Nuan supported them from behind, healing them. When the wolves lay sprawled on the ground, they laughed heartily in celebration. So we finished it. Looking at the wolves on the ground, the pillar joyfully said, I never expected we could handle this. The boss of the novice area, Nuan also cheered, We're really amazing. Jiang Kai turned to the 2 and said, Earlier I left a lot of shadow wolves with low health. You guys should quickly go collect the points. Nuan nodded at this, and the pillar asked, So, what's next? Jiang Kai replied, Right now we have a lot of points in hand. Next, of course, we head to the final destination. A few hours later, as dawn broke, the 3 finally reached their destination. There were many people bustling about, and the pillar observed the crowd while saying, Is this our sacred territory in the spirit realm? Nuan excitedly exclaimed, This is amazing! Jiang Kai joined in. Of course. The sacred land is the largest hub for the people of the sacred kingdom in the spirit realm. Suddenly, a mouse jumped down from Jiang Kai's hat and ran away. Nuan noticed and quickly told Jiang Kai, Look, that mouse is running. Jiang Kai calmly replied, It's fine, that's its freedom. If fate allows, we might meet again. The grand hall, the final reception area for newcomers, was bustling with many people. Ha Dao was leading the 3 of them and cheerfully said, Congratulations on passing the challenge. I'm Ha Dao, the guide for newcomers. Now all the newcomers who have passed the gate are here. Jiang Kai looked at him and asked, Officer, can I see the rankings of the newcomers who passed the trials? Ha Dao replied, Of course. From a distance, Huang Vi had spotted them and wore a sinister smile. What a coincidence! He approached Jiang Kai and pointed at the watch on his wrist. With a smug expression, he said, I didn't expect some of my hired thugs to join the trials too. Shall I show you the rankings? Jiang Kai noticed his darkened expression and felt displeased. He thought to himself, I can't believe Huang Vi got here so early. Huang Vi opened the rankings with pride and said, I'm in first place. And you all have perfectly secured the top positions, but it's just counting down from the bottom. A group of others chimed in to mock Jiang Kai with Lung Wen leading his voice dripping with sarcasm. Look at these losers! With such a record, how dare you ask? Following him was Hai Dao, who laughed loudly in agreement. You're not even a fraction of those losers. Jiang Kai's gaze turned icy as he looked at Huang Vi, thinking to himself. His sister came to the spirit realm to earn money and ended up working for Huang Vi. Moreover, this scumbag had harassed her multiple times. Huang Vi often exploited his brother's illness to humiliate him. Jiang Kai recalled the times Huang Vi and his goons had beaten him, and he could only lie on the ground, gritting his teeth to endure the pain. After each beating, Huang Vi would laugh mockingly. Your brother is a sick dog, and you're just a weakling. Jiang Kai felt a surge of anger and wanted to rush forward to curse him out. Huang Vi, I advise you to clean up your mouth. Seeing this, Jiang Kai held him back and urged, It's okay, True Two. As people began to gather, Jiang Kai stepped forward and said, I'm very sorry, everyone. I want to inform you all that the rankings will be rearranged soon because the top 3 positions have already been taken by us. Huang Vi's group burst into laughter as if they had just heard a joke. Huang Vi pointed at his head and said, Are you out of your mind? 3 people occupying the top 3 spots based on what? He laughed again. Officer, I think these guys are sick. Another member of his group chimed in, Right. They probably need some mental therapy, those 3 idiots. Jiang Kai turned to Nuan Nuan and said, We don't need to pretend anymore. Nuan Nuan nodded in agreement. Vintru touched his watch and said, I've been waiting for you to say that. Then let's flip the card. Maybe we should get some mental therapy for the 3 of you idiots. Jiang Kai turned to Noan and said, We don't need to pretend anymore. Hearing this, Noan nodded. Yuanju touched his watch and said, I've been waiting for you to say that. Then let's flip the cards. When Yuanju's watch opened, thousands of monster cards appeared. The group of Huang Wei was left gaping. Huang Wei clenched his teeth in disbelief. What the hell? How can there be so many? His eyes were glued to the pile of cards as if they might fall out. How could there be so many monster corpses? Not just the human-faced beasts, but also a lot of shadow wolves. No way. As they flipped through the cards, one of them suddenly spoke up. I even see a shadow wolf king. Huang Wei couldn't believe it. He angrily said, What kind of joke is this? You guys are all useless. How could you kill so many monsters? And even a shadow wolf king. How could this happen? Jiang Kai didn't even look at him. He just smirked and said, Or maybe it's all fake. The leaderboard already told you. What else? Everyone check the leaderboard. Whispers filled the air. Look, the leaderboard has really changed. So, their points are real. Huang Wei gritted his teeth. He opened his watch to see how this could be possible. Moreover, they really took the top 3 spots. Jiang Kai casually stuffed his hands into his pockets, smiling as he said, You think that's all there is? He stepped forward a few paces. Officer, may I ask if killing the captured monsters counts for points? Jiang Kai then threw out a bunch of watches and continued, Will that add to the score? When he saw the pile of watches in front of him, he was incredibly surprised. Then he said, This was a fake watch from the country of Lo. The group of Huang Vi was also shocked to hear that. What? A fake watch? Huang Vi laughed maniacally, mocking, You guys are exposed rookies. How could you possibly take down a fake watch? Indeed, they are a bunch of frauds. He spread his arms wide and said loudly for everyone to hear. Moreover, there are no fake watches in this trial at all. Has anyone here encountered a fake watch? Hearing him say that, the crowd raised their hands in agreement. No, we haven't encountered anyone at all. He pointed at the group of Jiang Kai and continued, Commander, look at how many witnesses there are. Look at how many people are here to testify. Besides them, there's basically no one who has encountered a fake watch. They must be frauds. I suggest we nullify their achievements and seriously investigate them. For now, we don't know how to judge this. He could only utter one word and the crowd around him began to voice their pressure. Handle it seriously. Take action. Quickly punish these liars. A person unexpectedly stepped out from the crowd and spoke up. Everyone rest assured, the sudden appearance of fake watches is real. It's just that we haven't had time to inform everyone. Hearing this, Huang Vi also stood still. The person stepping out was Lo Tuan An, the deputy commander of the Jing Central District. Lo Tuan An, dressed in a white suit and wearing glasses, stepped forward. Following him were 2 more people. He slowly said, At first I was very surprised to hear this news. But my superiors required me to personally commend the 3 of Jiang Kai, proving that this is entirely true. The crowd of Huang Vi, upon hearing this, broke out in a cold sweat. Haidao and another person both exclaimed, What? That's Lo Tuan, the deputy commander of Jiang Central. All the big shots have come here. This proves they indeed know about those fake watches. At this moment, Huang Vi could only utter a few words. Is it really like that? Lotun walked up to Jiang Kai and spoke, Jiang Kai, on behalf of the military, I want to encourage you. You guys have dealt with the threat of the fake players, so we've decided to promote you. That's your reward equipment. The people standing outside could only respond in unison. Wow. Lotun looked at Jiang Kai, smiled lightly, and continued. Originally, the reward for second and third place was level B, but now it's been upgraded to level A. As for the reward for first place, Jiang Kai, it's been upgraded from level A to level S. The three of them, Jiang Kai, Vian-Tru, and Nuan, were overjoyed. Vian-Tru laughed loudly and said, Really? Nuan smiled brightly. That's great. Jiang Kai spoke up to thank them. Thank you. The people outside were utterly shocked. One guy raised his hands, pulling at his hair, and yelled, What? The reward changed from level A to level S. Haidao, hearing this, was also stunned. They just started, and they already have equipment like that. In Jiang Kai's mind, he was imagining his class on demonology. He stood at the podium, and in front of him, the equipment in demonology was classified from level S to level F. F is the lowest quality, while S is the top tier. Generally speaking, level B and C equipment is already quite good. Levels A and S are rarer, something all adventurers dream of. Huang Vi, listening from outside, clenched his fists, trembling with rage. He gritted his teeth, veins bulging, thinking, even if Jiang Kai gets the S-level reward, it doesn't mean anything. This guy dares to push me down to 4th place. Huang Vi was furious, his face flushed, yelling, It's not fair. There must be something wrong with this achievement. Who does that Jiang Kai think he is to surpass me? Jiang Kai looked at him with a cold gaze. He opened his mouth, enunciating each word. Huang Vi, the military has confirmed it, and you still don't believe it. Moreover, I warn you, don't bother my family. A man in armor shouted to stop him, but it was too late. Huang Vi, ignoring everything, drew his sword and shouted, Is this a challenge? Did I say something wrong? You guys are just a bunch of lowly commoners. He stood in front of Jiang Kai, continuing to insult him and his family. Your brother is just a sick dog, and your sister is just a servant. You're just a loser who gets beaten in a corner. Today you dare to step on my head. Jiang Kai's face darkened. He remained silent. Huang Vi in a frenzy charged at him, shouting, You should know that your servant sister is still working for my family. Do you dare to anger me? Just wait one day, I'll bring her out. Before he could finish, Jiang Kai slashed across him. Huang Vi's chest was torn open, and before he could react, blood sprayed everywhere. Lung Wen and Haidao, witnessing this scene, gasped. What the hell? Nuan and Vian-Tru also chimed in. Jiang Kai is targeting Huang Vi. Lo Tuan stood outside watching the scene unfold. I've heard that one day I will bring it out. Before he could finish his sentence, Jiang Kai slashed across him. Huang Vi's chest was torn open with a large gash, and before he could react, fresh blood sprayed everywhere. The crowd, including Lung Wen and Haidao, gasped at this scene, exclaiming, What? Nuan and Vian-Tru also voiced their surprise seeing Jiang Kai targeting Huang Vi. Lotun stood outside watching this scene. He just smiled faintly, accompanied by a complex gaze. He was contemplating whether to strike. Seeing Jiang Kai seriously injure Huang Vi, the crowd gathered around, most notably Luong Wen. He was utterly stunned. Huang Vi was now kneeling on the ground, his body shaking uncontrollably. Someone from the outside spoke up. Huang Vi comes from the Huang family, one of the 10 major guilds in the country. Does Jiang Kai dare to lay a hand on him? Huang Vi was drenched in sweat, his hand covering the wound that was bleeding profusely on his chest. Gritting his teeth, he said each word with difficulty. Jiang Kai, you dare to lay a hand on me. Do you know what you'll have to face? Jiang Kai turned around, still holding the metal pipe in his hand, looking at him with a cold gaze. You filthy animal, you spread rumors about wanting to lay hands on my family. I don't even need to know who you are. Huang Vi looked at him, feeling a sense of fear creeping in. Jiang Kai took a step closer to him, speaking as he walked. In this world, my family is the most important to me. As long as someone dares to touch them. The crowd outside watched his actions in silence, not daring to speak up anymore. Jiang Kai stood in front of Huang Vi, raising the metal pipe. Jiang Kai looked down at him, clearly articulating each word. No matter who it is, I will definitely strike. Moreover, seeing Jiang Kai's actions, Huang Vi trembled and raised one hand to shield himself. His voice trembling. Wait! Jiang Kai showed no mercy, thrusting the metal pipe straight at Huang Vi. I will even kill that person. Pierced by the metal pipe, Huang Vi screamed in pain. When Jiang Kai pulled the pipe out, Huang Vi had already breathed his last. The system immediately sent a notification to the explorer. Jiang Kai successfully killed the level 1 explorer Huang Vi, gaining 6 experience points. There was an option to loot. Jiang Kai squinted, looking at him quietly. Only 6 experience points. I could loot a wealthy family. Seeing that Jiang Kai had killed Huang Vi, the crowd, including Luang Van, looked on in shock. One of them shouted, "What, he actually dared to kill the young master of the Huang family. Even though he was killed on the battlefield, he was still a guild member. The Xuanvu Guild of the Huang family is a massive force." Another person chimed in, "This guy is getting too bold, isn't he?" Luo Tuan, with his hands in his pockets, observed Jiang Kai from behind, silently assessing him. "Not bad, this kid is a bit reckless. But he's lost his integrity. No wonder he's the one that the higher-ups wanted to meet." Seeing the chaotic situation unfold, Lo Tuan lightly cleared his throat a few times and said, "What just happened was Huang Vi attacking first. Jiang Kai was just defending himself, so he retaliated. This matter should come to an end." Saying that, he waved his hand, signaling Jiang Kai's group to follow him. "Jiang Kai, you 3 come with me. I'll take you to collect your rewards." Jiang Kai immediately replied, "Yes, thank you, officer." The officer looked at Jiang Kai with a sparkling gaze. Just now, Jiang Kai was incredibly impressive. Noan also chimed in, "That was so cool." Outside, in a small hut, a few people were standing there. It was the group of Jiang Kai and Luo Tuan standing in the hut. In front of Jiang Kai, Noan and the officer had 3 secret treasure boxes. Luo Tuan crossed his arms and said, "We've been waiting for a long time. This is the special military equipment reward for everyone. Hurry up and open it." Jiang Kai replied, "Thank you." Noan reached out to open her box, and a dazzling light emanated from within. A gem radiating brilliant light flew before Noan. She joyfully exclaimed, "It's the life gem. This is the equipment that even doctors dream of." Lo Tuan observed her excitement. He nodded. The life gem increases physical strength by 15 points and enhances healing and potion-making effects. Very good. The officer tried on the armor. The armor sparkled. The officer happily raised his hand to show off. "Look at this! My armor is so cool!" Lo Tuan laughed, clapping his hands. The power of the Black Rock Tea armor increases by 16 points. It can also reduce damage by 16%. It's a high-quality all-around equipment. This is so useful. Noan, curious from behind, urged Jiang Kai. "Jiang Kai, you should hurry and open yours too." He nodded. "Okay." Jiang Kai opened his gift box, and a brilliant light burst forth, dazzling his eyes. Before him, a set of 9 swords appeared in the system's box. Not daring to assess the equipment, Lo Tuan raised his hand to his chin, thinking, then said, "It seems we need to assess it. Only then can we check the equipment." Vian True excitedly chimed in, "We need an assessment card. It must be really good." Lo Tuan took out something that looked like a bandage. He raised it and said, "That's right. High-quality equipment usually requires an assessment card. Luckily, I have a few that can help you assess." As he handed over the assessment card, Jiang Kai's reward information immediately appeared. 9 lives, pursuit S-level weapon upgraded to 9 energy points, 9 penetration points. Flexible special effect. Each time the pursuit weapon is used, the critical hit rate and critical damage will increase by 10% up to a maximum of 90% after activating a critical hit. All pursuit reward effects will be reset. Seeing the information panel, Lo Tuan spoke first. "Wow, it's actually a critical hit weapon. But it's a low attack power for newcomers. Even if it's a critical hit, the damage isn't high. This S level doesn't seem to be better than a lower level." Hearing this, Vian True was taken aback and asked, Commander, isn't this a bit of a scam for my buddies? So, Commander, can Jiang Kai's equipment be exchanged?" Lo Tuan put his hands in his pockets and continued, "It's quite troublesome, but I can help you apply for an exchange." Hearing this, Jiang Kai immediately refused. "No, I don't need to exchange. I want this one." Everyone was stunned by Jiang Kai's words. Jiang Kai picked up a sword and examined it, thinking to himself, "How could this equipment possibly scam me?" Everyone was stunned by Jiang Kai's words. He picked up a sword and examined it, thinking to himself, how could this equipment possibly let me down? Clearly, it's the ultimate equipment that suits me best. Oh, and I should mention that my critical damage now isn't just doubled, but 200 times that of an ordinary person. I just need to score a critical hit. Even the Shadow Wolf King can't stop that. But it's also quite unfortunate that my critical hit rate will be very low against strong enemies. I might even die without landing a critical hit. At that point, there wouldn't be any chance to show off. However, with 9 lives pursuit, each strike has at least a 10% critical hit rate. By the 9th strike, it could go up to 90%. It's almost guaranteed to be a critical hit. He raised the sword high, his face full of pride. He continued to think, I can even say, this is a perfect divine weapon. Luo Tuan saw Jiang Kai's determination. He didn't want to trade it like that. He just nodded slightly in response. That's good, Jiang Kai. If you like it, you don't have to change anymore. After passing the trial, you can return to Earth if you want. Luo Tuan walked closer to Jiang Kai. He placed a hand on his shoulder and slowly said, Jiang Kai, I want to remind you that someone might come looking for you soon. I sincerely advise you to be careful when you go home. Hearing the captain's warning like that, the 3 of them, Jiang Kai the Pillar and Nuan, stood there watching his figure leave. Scene changed to Earth, the holy country, Zhang's slum. Jiang Kai was happily riding his bike home. As he rode along the road, he thought, I didn't expect to pass the beginner trial so smoothly. I wonder how my brothers will react if they find out about this. Next, I'll take my big brother and my younger brother away from here. The sooner we can get away from the royal family, the better. He looked up at the old dilapidated building that had deteriorated over the years. Trash was piled up everywhere in front of the building, giving off a foul smell. He continued to think, from now on, we won't have to live in the slums anymore. My big brother will be well taken care of, and my younger brother won't be harassed anymore. He held his phone in his hand. His gaze looked far away as if peering into the distant future of himself and his family. Jiang Kai continued to think that everything would turn out just fine. Jiang Kai parked his bike and headed inside the house. He opened the door and called out, Big brother on too, with a smile as he stepped inside. I'm back, everyone. Guess how my rookie trial went? No one replied. He opened his eyes and saw a man sitting on the couch, staring right at him in his home. A group of unfamiliar faces appeared in the living room, each looking quite sinister. The man sitting on the couch glared at him with hostility. He was Huang Dat. Upon seeing him, he spoke up. After waiting for half a day, someone finally comes home. I heard today that you were quite impressive in your rookie trial, huh? He was caught off guard and stammered, You're Huang Vi's brother Huang Dat, right? What do you want? A thought suddenly flashed in his mind. This is bad. Why are the royal family's people here so quickly? Before he could finish his thought, a hand pushed him forward, and 2 guys on either side held his arms tightly, forcing Jiang Kai to kneel down. Kneel down, Jiang Kai. He tried to resist, but he couldn't, because he was restrained by these 2. Huang Dat stood up and looked down at him, holding a baseball bat in one hand, while the other was in his pocket, saying, Jiang Kai, do you know that my little brother was killed by you on the training ground? Now he's back and has to undergo psychological treatment. You know right. Only people from the royal family can bully others. No one has ever dared to bully us. Jiang Kai glared at him in anger. Huang Dat seemed to go insane at that moment, his eyes red as he looked at him, grinning savagely. You made Huang Vi go offline for a month, so you better log out for life, you dog. As soon as he finished speaking without blinking, he swung the baseball bat down at Jiang Kai's head. Jiang Kai's eyes widened, his teeth clenched as he stared at him, but he couldn't fight back, because he was being restrained by the 2. Suddenly, the front door of Jiang Kai's house was kicked open by someone. The door flew out and hit the 2 guys holding him. They let go of Jiang Kai's arms in pain. Both of the men in front and Huang Dat were quickly taken down, lying on the floor. Huang Dat shouted, Who did that? Next to him, a tall man appeared, followed by To Lam Lam entering. The man spoke Jiang Kai. I told you to be careful when you got home. You should have paid attention. So it's Wei Ung. He was puffing on a cigarette as he continued. Why didn't you take this seriously? To Lam Lam stepped in. She held up a piece of paper, her tone serious. Don't move. The military is working. The group of Huang Dat was astonished to see Wei Ung. One of them spoke up. What the commanding officer, Wei Ung, a high-ranking officer from the Zhangzhong military district. Huang Dat was also shocked. How could someone of such stature be here? Wei Ung raised his hand to take the cigarette from his mouth, his expression fierce. We're here for Jiang Kai. You guys have messed with someone you shouldn't have. Upon hearing this, Huang Dat's face turned dark as a pot lid. He never expected Wei Ung to come for Jiang Kai. He gritted his teeth and said, The commander came for Jiang Kai. What kind of status does that guy have? At this moment, Jiang Kai slowly leaned against the wall, forcing himself to stand up. Suddenly, a thought crossed his mind, someone as important as the senior commanding officer of Jiang City. It was all because of me. In the end, under the pressure from the army, Huang had to bow his head and apologize. 2 large guards stood behind him watching him closely. Just be honest. The 3 of them, Jiang Kai, Wei Ung, and To Lam Lam, stood outside the corridor looking down. At this moment, Jiang Kai spoke up to thank the commander. Thank you all for coming to rescue me today. But I don't know why everyone... Wei Ung interrupted him saying, Don't be tense. We're looking for you for a reason. The new recruit training this time. You Vin Tru and To Nuan Nuan performed exceptionally well. Do you know that after you left the line, Vin Tru and To Nuan Nuan were invited to join the army? We're here to invite you too. Just think about it for a moment. Wei Ung took the cigarette from his mouth, exhaled a puff of white smoke, and continued, You have a new profession, right? Hearing him mention the 3 words, new profession, Jiang Kai was momentarily taken aback. He didn't understand why Wei Ung knew about his situation. To Lam Lam turned to him and said, Jiang Kai, do you know what it means to have a new profession? Right now, there are many professions for demon explorers. Every time an explorer levels up to 20, they will have a chance to change their profession. Each time they change professions, the attributes and skills of the explorer will change. Some will become stronger, but some will become weaker. Currently, there are many professions that become useless in the later stages. Therefore, to find a stronger combat force, the army has always been exploring new professions. She stepped closer to Jiang Kai and said slowly, And the one you currently possess seems to be a very strong new profession. So Jiang Kai, do you agree to participate with your new professional identity? The army know. After To Lam Lam finished speaking, everyone fell into deep thought. Wei Ung broke the somewhat heavy atmosphere, saying, Hey, don't worry. We don't intend to force you. I apologize for this before coming here. We investigated your family and learned about your brother's illness. To Lam Lam continued, As long as you agree to join the army will not only protect your family, but will also take full responsibility for your brother's medical expenses. Hearing this, Jiang Kai still pressed his lips tightly together. He didn't respond. Wei Ung and To Lam Lam left while Jiang Kai remained standing in the corridor as the 2 slowly walked away. Before leaving, Wei Ung added one last thing. Aren't you coming to the demon realm for your brother's medical expenses? If you agree, come to the army to register tomorrow. To Lam Lam also left a message. Just find me when the time comes. Watching the 2 of them gradually walk away, Jiang Kai seemed to have made a decision. He spoke up. I'm sorry, but I refuse to join the army. The 2, Wei Ung and To Lam Lam, were both shocked by his decision. Lam Lam turned around and asked, Why? Jiang Kai continued, I know joining the army is a good thing, but that's for professions that will definitely develop strongly in the future. For example, the warrior of Vien Tru and the doctor of Nuan Nuan. He placed his hand on his chest, his gaze firm. But I'm not like that. I have a new profession. Remember back then when the miraculous was discovered, it was a new profession. Wasn't it also valued by the army? At that time, the army worked hard to support the demon wine, and the demon wine was at its peak. But when the army discovered that the demon wine would be of no use if they continued to develop, wasn't the demon wine abandoned by the army? Looking at the current state of the demon wine, see how the profession changed to demon wine ends up being no different from eating. Think of your happy little family, and then continue. This time I was too excited and unprepared. I never expected the Huang family to drop their image and take action directly. We need to quickly move out of the area controlled by them. The Huang family is in power. I'm really grateful to everyone for stepping in to help. But the 3 of us have been living and relying on each other for over 10 years now. Jiang Kai clenched his fist, showing his determination. We're used to holding our own fate rather than completely relying on someone else's protection. To Lam Lam, hearing this, angrily shouted, "But right now you're in a tough spot. Your new job could bring about a big change for everyone. Humanity really needs you right now. How can you think like that?" Jiang Kai turned his face away, trying to avoid her gaze. He replied, "Sorry, I'm not that great. I just want to keep my family safe and live on." To Lam Lam listened to him. She stubbornly tried to say something more to him, but Wei Ung approached. He placed his hand on her shoulder, interrupting what To Lam Lam was about to say. "Forget it, we understand this kid's intentions." Wei Ung had lit a cigarette. At some point, he pinched it between two fingers and slowly spoke to Jiang Kai. "Habits formed over more than 10 years can't change overnight. You can, but listen here, kid. You need to know that your brother doesn't have much time left." The cigarette he just lit had burned down 2/3. He flicked the ash off and continued, "Moreover, in this apocalypse, fighting alone won't be effective. We might as well take a gamble." He looked at Jiang Kai and smirked. "In the next month, the army will protect you from the royal family's interference. If within a month you can earn enough for your brother's surgery and prove your strength to protect your family, I'll agree to your refusal to enlist. But if you can't earn the money, the army will cover your brother's medical expenses to help him survive. But afterward, you'll have to enlist to prove yourself." To Lam Lam was taken aback by what he said. She was surprised because she never expected Wei Ung to think so deeply. Wei Ung and To Lam Lam stood in front of Jiang Kai once again. Jiang Kai smiled as if willing to follow his words. He replied, "Okay, I agree." At this moment, the city sky had turned dark. Alone in the house, Jiang Kai, he began to think. Now facing the army's gamble, he needed to quickly return to Mars to earn money for his brother's surgery. He wrote a note. Leaving a message for his brother and himself, he then left. "Big brother, I'm leaving. Everyone is still working overtime. I've passed the test and will return to Mars." Before he left the house, walking on the streets filled with homeless people and addicts, thoughts flooded his mind. Moreover, with the threat from the royal family, the three of them. "We can't live in a place like this anymore. We need to move to a higher security area for safety, so this time returning to Mars is a heavy task. But next time, I will definitely come back here with enough money." Jiang Kai returned to the holy city of Mars. The holy city was still bustling with people. Jiang Kai had changed into a new set of gear. Looking at the outfit on himself, he thought, after passing the beginner's challenge, the adventure on Mars officially begins. After changing clothes in the trading area, he finally could earn money by fighting monsters. Looking up at the wooden sign hanging above his head that read Guild, he thought newcomers just want to make money on Mars. They have to join a guild because the monsters on Mars are so strong that you basically die if you fight them alone. So all explorers have to join a guild to form a team to fight the monsters. After joining the guild, newcomers can. It's mandatory to join a raid party because the monsters on Mars are so strong that you'll basically die if you fight them alone. So all the explorers have to join a raid party to form a team to fight the monsters. Considering that the guild is a large team, after joining the guild, newcomers can. Following the team members to fight against monsters and increase the survival rate. So let's see which guilds I can join. You open the door and excitedly step inside. "Hello, I want to join a guild." The girl with purple hair sitting at the reception desk speaks up. Her name is Tu Huyen. She responds to Jiang Kai, "Sorry, you must be Jiang Kai, right? Currently, you cannot join a guild." Jiang Kai asks her why. She raises her hand and points to a picture of him, marked with a big X, explaining that he has offended the royal family, so he is now on the nobles' blacklist. All the guilds are gone. Upon hearing this, Jiang Kai feels like he's turned to stone for a few seconds. So if nothing changes in the future, you can only challenge the monsters alone. The scene shifts to a safe area on the outskirts of the holy city. Jiang Kai walks here alone. There are many eyes around watching him. Jiang Kai walks while rubbing his head, thinking, "What did I do to offend the royal family? No guild dares to accept me. Is it really the Great Mountain Path? Has it already ended before it even began?" Suddenly, a person dressed in patched clothes with a large patch on their shoulder approaches from behind, calling out to him, "You look worried, not sure which area to go to fight monsters." Jiang Kai nods and replies, "Uh-huh." He turns around to see a girl. She is the explorer Ho Nyun, a level 29 fortune teller. She winks and smiles mischievously at Jiang Kai. Then she says, "I'm a fortune teller. I can calculate the best spots for you. It only costs 100 magic coins. Jiang Kai looks at her speechless and turns to walk away. As he leaves, he waves his hand. Sorry, I'm an atheist. Hongyun hurriedly reaches out, calling after him. Wait, you can negotiate. Or I can offer you a free reading as a startup promotion. Upon hearing the words, free, Jiang Kai turns around 180 degrees, his attitude cheerful and open as he stands in front of her. Free. Then I'll bother you. I'm still quite superstitious. Hongyun, seeing his quick change, can only stare in disbelief, thinking, free, he really is stingy. She opens her skill bag, gritting her teeth as she takes out her monster card. In her mind, she thinks, forget it, let's just practice my skills. She holds up her monster card, which immediately lights up. She mumbles some characters under her breath, and soon glowing lines of text appear neatly before Hongyun. As she looks at these lines of text, she says to Jiang Kai, right now, you're in danger. If you don't want to face risks, I advise you to go straight ahead. Hongyun looks out and sees that it's the King's Valley. King's Valley. Hearing her say this, Jiang Kai raises his hand to his chin, his expression thoughtful for a moment. Danger, this is indeed possible since the royal family is targeting me. It's just that in the safe zone, there are rules against killing, so the royal family doesn't dare to touch me. He thinks of the wasteland plain where several strange creatures appear and two monsters are wielding swords. The scenery here looks like a furnace magnifying the mountains. Fire erupts from the ground, cracking open streams of lava. This is where new adventurers train, leveling up to 110 in this wasteland plain. However, it's highly likely that the royal family will send someone here to kill me. No, I should switch to the peaceful mountain path. This place has beautiful green mountains and rivers. The peaceful mountain path is for adventurers level 15 and above. If I go there now, I will definitely die. Jiang Kai pulls himself out of his thoughts. He looks ahead at King's Valley and thinks about it. This is a dangerous area for levels 10 and above. With my current strength, I could barely enter this place. The royal family probably wouldn't expect me to be here. All right then. After thinking for a while, he finally makes his decision. If the royal family doesn't allow me to join a guild, then... So I'll just fight the demon alone for you to see. The kingdom of the goblin is my #1 target. As soon as you finish thinking, you run off immediately. Just turning back to leave a message for Hongyun. Thank you so much for the tips. Hongyun didn't understand what was happening. She could only raise her hand to wave at Jiang Kai. After a while, it seemed like she realized something. Hongyun's eyes widened in shock. Wait, why is he going to the Goblin King alone? I said you need a team to go. Where even is the Goblin King? A newcomer like him going in there? Isn't that just asking for trouble? Saying that she quickly packed her things into her bag, preparing to leave. Forget it, this has nothing to do with me. Just don't take back the 5-star rating you gave me. Transitioning to the Goblin King's domain, Jiang Kai has arrived. The scene before him is breathtaking, lush green mountains and clear waters with streams flowing gently. Jiang Kai looks around at everything. In his heart, he thinks, so this is the Goblin King's domain. I wonder what kind of monsters are here. Suddenly, a roar comes from behind Jiang Kai. He turns around, eyes alert for any movement from the source of the roar he just heard. A beast with sharp teeth is opening its mouth. It lets out powerful roars. A giant mutated gorilla with long fangs is fiercely attacking a group of people. This group seems exhausted being thrown aside by it. A boy with neatly tied blonde hair is still holding on. He loudly encourages everyone to hang in there. The information display system for this giant gorilla appears, along with warnings about the monster. Level 11 black gorilla strength, 172 physique, 68 agility, 142 mental power, 13 defense. 3. One person in their team suddenly speaks up. This black monkey is level 11, and we're level 10 already. Just a little more effort, and we can take it down. Let's attack even harder. Everyone rallies their spirits together, taking their fighting positions, responding in unison. Jiang Kai has now reached the source of the roar. He hides behind a large tree, observing the situation. Jiang Kai sees them and can't help but say to himself, this is the fighting team of the adventurers. It's so intense. Moreover, the monsters here seem really strong. I wonder what I'll encounter. Suddenly, Jiang Kai notices something. His eyes widen. He turns around to see 3 pairs of monster eyes staring directly at him. Jiang Kai jumps back to defend himself. They really are here. Just as I mentioned, Chow Chow Cow Cow arrives. He checks his watch, looking at the warning on it, serious danger, with the 3 giants in front of him. Level 12, Black Gorilla Danger Rating. Level 13, Black Gorilla Danger Rating. Level 14, Black Gorilla Danger Rating. Over here, the squad earlier has finished off the level 11 giant. The system notification appears. The Heavenly Sword Squad has eliminated the level 11 Black Gorilla. They cheer joyfully. Finally, we've won. We're so awesome. One person gives a thumbs up to the blonde guy. He is Vu Hang. He happily says, Captain, we level 10 can take down a level 11 gorilla without losing any members. Can we brag about this a bit? The blonde boy grins proudly. Your name is Tuan, right? Let's see who the team leader is. Before he could finish his sentence, they were distracted by a loud noise. They turned around and were shocked by the scene before them. 3 black wolves were chasing Jiang Kai. He was running for his life, dodging their attacks. In his mind, he thought, I seem to have wandered into their territory. Vu Hang saw the monsters charging this way. He shouted loudly, Captain over there! There's someone fighting 3 black wolves. Moreover, each one is at a higher level than the one we just fought. Nyuk, feeling anxious, spoke up. We have to go help that person. Tuan, startled by what they said, fearfully replied, Those idiots, that guy. We definitely attracted all 3 monkeys at once. Now one of them just won't die. If we go over there, we're definitely done for. We better run, he said. Tuan turned around and walked away. Tuan turned his back and walked away. Suddenly, a huge explosion occurred, causing him to freeze in place. A black beast was sent flying. The notification system chimed in. Eliminate level 12 Black Beast X1 Jiang Kai. You used 9 lives to hunt down the Black Beast, managing to take one down. Jiang Kai felt a sense of joy and thought to himself, this is great. Each time you used the hunting skill, it increased the critical hit rate. By the 5th strike, it would finally unleash a super critical hit. Tuan and the others watched this scene in awe. Everyone was left speechless, unable to believe what they were seeing. Tuan stared wide-eyed and exclaimed, What the hell? We had to put in so much effort just to take down a level 11 black beast. The guy behind him chimed in. Yet that kid over there managed to take down a level 12 beast all by himself in just a few seconds. Tuan continued. The other 2 beasts, seeing their companion killed by Jiang Kai, became even more frenzied in their pursuit. Jiang Kai ran while glancing back, holding a hunting weapon, thinking to himself, All right, let's add another one. He hurled the hunting weapon in his hand with tremendous force, striking a black beast. In an instant, the black beast exploded. The notification system rang out again. Eliminate level 13 Black Beast X1. Jiang Kai was overjoyed. His eyes sparkled with confidence that he would take down the last black beast. He happily thought, this is amazing. With just 1 attack, the hunting skill increased the critical hit rate by 10%, activating a super critical hit. Tuan and the others outside watched as he continued to slaughter another black beast, their expressions filled with disbelief. Tuan's mouth dropped open even wider. What did he just mumble? He killed another one. The last black beast, not willing to miss the chance to kill Jiang Kai, crazily chased after him. Jiang Kai was sprinting ahead with all his might. He thought, great, now there's only one left. Tuan, seeing this, broke into a cold sweat and spoke up. That's the strongest level 14 black beast here. I can't believe he can kill it. Jiang Kai glanced back, calculating in his mind that he only had 3 uses of the hunting skill left. But his divine power and stamina were nearly depleted. He was about to run out of energy. He poured all his strength into the 3 hunting weapons, thinking to himself, I can only gamble before it catches me trying to increase the chance of a critical hit. With that thought, he used his strength to split the 3 hunting weapons into several pieces. Jiang Kai turned around using every last bit of his strength. Launching 3 deadly projectiles carrying bright red lightning aimed at the black beast, betting on who would die first, me or it. The black beast charged towards him, but was hit by the 3 projectiles exploding on impact. It only had time to let out a few screams before Jiang Kai saw the beast burst apart. He joyfully exclaimed, Awesome! With 1 strike, he used all the weapons he had, truly delivering a fatal blow, causing the black beast to fall right in front of Tuan's group, leaving them gaping in shock once again. The system announced the elimination of a level 14 black beast. Tuan's group turned pale, their faces shifting from white to green. They all exclaimed in unison, "He really can kill all 3 of them!" A group of over 10 people struggled to take down just these 3 black beasts. Who on earth is this guy? Zhang Kai approached the remains of the black beast, breathing a sigh of relief. He never expected this monster to be easier to defeat than he thought. Zhang Kai collected 3 tokens from the 3 beasts. He looked at the tokens, thinking that now he had 3 tokens containing their essence in his hands. It seems like taking one down isn't that hard after all. With that thought, he ran off. Tuan tried to chase after him, but it was too late. Tuan stood frozen in place, exclaiming, "He's gone. The Great One has disappeared." He should have made friends with such a great person. Why didn't I befriend him? He felt despair, crying out, "Why did you all stop me from helping the Great One at the beginning?" Regret washed over him. "I'm done for." The 3 members of the team looked at him speechless. They thought, "Isn't he the captain?" The scene shifted to the Plains of Ashes, where a crowd was gathering below. Suddenly, someone in the crowd spoke up. "Am I seeing things? There are 3 martial artists, a soldier, and a doctor." Another voice chimed in. "Isn't this the famous Falcon Squad from the Royal Xuanwu Guild?" They noticed one of the squad members was choking someone. A girl in the crowd whispered, "Why are they here in the newbie area of the Ashes Plains? They're so powerful." Fei Ti in the squad was the doctor. She watched the martial artist tighten his grip around the girl's neck, who snorted coldly and said, "We've already scoured the Ashes Plains." Yet we couldn't find that Zhang Kai. The levels of the Falcon Squad members were gradually revealed. Doctor level 20 martial artist, level 20. Soldier, level 20. Zhang Hai was choking the girl and greeted her. "I heard you're the closest one to Zhang Kai. Quickly tell us where he is." The one being choked was none other than Honyan. She coughed a few times and struggled to say, "What do you want with him?" Another girl in the group spoke up. "That's Hong Yun. Isn't she someone everyone knows?" Van Thuy, standing beside, smirked and said, "Zhang Kai has offended the royal family. We've been sent by the royal family to take revenge." Honan was still being choked. She struggled with all her might, looking at them with disdain. "Is that so?" Zhang Kai went to the King's Valley. "You can go there and find him." Upon hearing this, Zhang Hai let go, causing Honan to drop to the ground with a thud. He looked at her, his voice dripping with threat. "But if you dare to lie to us, just wait until we come back. You'll be dead." Bystanders were eavesdropping. A girl overheard and commented, "The Falcon Squad is the top team among the level 20 explorers of the royal family." Another person added, "To mess with such a strong team like this. That Zhang Kai is definitely dead. That guy Zhang Kai is definitely going to die." Honyan sat on the ground, holding a piece of the yin-yang 5 elements in her hand. She coughed a few times before responding to the 2 people. "You're pretty strong, huh? But for those who lack morals, even a fortune teller can't predict anything." Her gaze turned somber as she continued, "Just now I secretly read their fortunes. Let's do some calculations. When they come looking for Zhang Kai this time, the outcome could very well be..." Honyan paused for a moment, looking at the 8 monsters, a skull-shaped figure appearing ominously. She uttered just one word, "death." A day later, the King's Valley, after a day of monster extermination. "Zhang Kai, open your info panel." Looking at it, he happily said, "Great, I've killed 16 Blackstones, finally leveled up to level 6. His info panel displayed adventurer Zhang Kai, profession gambler, level 6 attributes, strength 24, defense 28, critical hit rate 0.1%, agility 42, critical damage 20, 1000%, spirit power 42, experience 85 out of 200. At that moment, Zhang Kai was standing on the corpse of a Blackstone. He looked at the Blackstone card in his hand, thinking, "I heard the corpse of this Blackstone can be sold for a high price. But carrying it away is quite a hassle. Still, I have to take it with me. That way the medicine for my brother will be much better." While Zhang Kai was still standing there, thinking, a voice rang out behind him. "Hey kid over there, do you want to join our hunting team?" Hearing this, Zhang Kai turned around. In front of him was a small team who were also hunting. The leader of the group wore a cloak that covered his entire body. His name was Hung Dat. One of them spoke up. "Our 3 teams are hunting an elite Blackstone. If we win, we'll get the elite treasure." Hung Dat raised his hand, inviting him. "Are you in?" Jiang Kai replied, "A hunting team, but I don't have a team. I'm just going solo." Hung Dat looked at him with a serious gaze and continued, "No worries, we actually need one more person." They led him to a high peak looking down at 4 black stones that were sound asleep. One of them said, "Have you seen them? Monster Elite Black Stone level 15. Over there are 4 Elite Black Stones. Inside their lair, there's Elite Treasure." Another added, "But these 4 are very strong. We only have 3 teams, so we need you to lure them out." Hung Dat spoke up again. "Just lure one away. Then our 3 teams will split up to deal with the other 3. When you come back, you can get a share of the treasure." Hearing the words, Elite Treasure, Jiang Kai carefully thought, "Elite Treasure, huh? I've heard that elite treasures contain many good things. You can earn more than from the monster corpses. I have to find a way to get it." His gaze turned cold, but facing those powerful elite monsters, he definitely had to fight in a group, yet they wanted him to lure one out alone. Clearly, they don't want me to come back. This way, they want to swallow the elite treasure of all 4 teams. But now that I've stepped onto the boat, if I don't agree, I might not make it out. Jiang Kai smiled wryly and replied, "All right, I agree." Hearing this, the group cheered excitedly and began to take action. At this rate, the 3 of them want to swallow Baoyang from all 4 teams. But now that we've set foot on the boat, if we don't comply, we might not be able to leave. Jiang Kai smiled casually and replied, "All right, I agree." The group, hearing him say that, cheered loudly and began to take action. "All right, then let's do it that way." Everyone in the groups pay attention. They're sliding down the cliff. Move while responding in unison. Leading the crowd was Jiang Kai. The 4 black beasts noticed the commotion and woke up. Seeing someone attacking, they roared as a warning to each other. Hung Dat, standing from afar, shouted loudly to Jiang Kai, "Hey, little bro, hurry up and take action." Jiang Kai immediately sprang into action. He replied, "Okay," and launched an attack towards one of the black beasts to draw its attention. They immediately countered his strike. The monster roared angrily, crazily chasing after Jiang Kai. Hung Dat laughed triumphantly. "Not bad, huh? That kid really did it." He shouted, "That'll take care of one group." The black beasts rushed toward his shout. "Now it's all settled. One group, one beast. Everything is in my hands now." His companions also charged forward, determined to fight the black beasts. The black beasts screamed wildly their attacks, causing loud, deafening explosions. Jiang Kai ran while panting, thinking, "This is getting too calculated." Behind him, a black beast was relentlessly pursuing him. It raised its claws, wanting to grab him. The attributes of this elite black beast were likely many times stronger than an ordinary one. If it were a regular adventurer, they would definitely be dead by now. Jiang Kai suddenly stopped abruptly. He wasn't running away anymore, but turned to face the black beast. Quick as lightning, Jiang Kai launched a move at the black beast. "I'm not just any ordinary adventurer." The black beast roared in pain as a series of powerful strikes cut into it, causing it to bleed. Jiang Kai jumped back as the beast stood still frozen in place. A moment later, a flash of light appeared where the black beast stood and it exploded on the spot. Jiang Kai jumped up, standing on the body of the fallen black beast. The system displayed, "Eliminated Elite Black Beast, level 15 by 1. Jiang Kai smiled brightly, thinking, "Delicious. I didn't expect to take down this elite beast with just one supercritical hit." He raised his eyebrows, looking ahead with a victorious expression. "Now it's my turn to take advantage of them right over there." The group was still fighting hard. Some were healing their teammates, while others surrounded the black beast, all encouraging each other. "Come on, everyone, just a bit more." Once we finish this, we'll share the rewards." Hung Dat, seeing the tough battle, gritted his teeth and sneered. He didn't realize Jiang Kai had been behind him for who knows how long. Jiang Kai struck him with a surprise attack. Hung Dat barely had time to scream before collapsing. Jiang Kai quietly stepped into the cave, alone, going deeper, following the direction of the growing vines. He soon spotted a shiny treasure lying on the rocks. Jiang Kai was overjoyed, thinking, "I can't believe it's this easy to get in. Moreover, there really is a treasure. It looks worth the price." Jiang Kai reached out to grab the treasure, thinking, "This is great. With this luring, a level 15 elite black beast wouldn't be in vain." Right, suddenly a faint sound echoed in the cave. Something just brushed against Jiang Kai's shoulder. It was a black beast above him, its eyes wide, grinning widely, while drooling, looking extremely terrifying. Jiang Kai felt its presence. His body stiffened, and he broke out in a cold sweat as the black beast jumped down, raising its fist to strike where Jiang Kai stood. Jiang Kai quickly dodged, astonished. What the? There's another beast in the cave. And it's a level 20 elite black beast. Did they not investigate before the fight? The black beast grinned, revealing its terrifying teeth. The elite black beast level 20 is particularly dangerous. Jiang Kai, after calming down, gradually realized the situation. It was blocking the entrance of the cave. It stood blocking the entrance of the cave. Then you soared up right in front of the black creature and swung your fist. Well, I guess it's time to fight. The black creature took the hit from Jiang Kai to its eye and chest, but didn't flinch. Jiang Kai frowned, surprised by this black creature. It didn't leave any wounds at all, not even when aiming for the eyes. The black creature's eyes were glaring red and bulging. The elite earth elemental creature had a defense of 23 points. Its attack could not penetrate the defensive layer. The outer surface couldn't take any damage. Jiang Kai frowned, his face clearly showing worry and unease. The piercing point of his attack was only 9 points, yet its defense was 23. Could it be that this one is like the Wolf King? I have to break through its defense to deal damage to it? The black creature suddenly jumped into the air, raising its hand high. Jiang Kai didn't have time to react as it immediately threw a large rock down from above. With a loud bang, the ground shook, sending water splashing everywhere. Jiang Kai took the hit directly. He coughed violently, injuries all over his body. Struggling to open his eyes, his forehead was now soaked in blood. It hurt so much, it was overwhelming. Am I really going to die? The black creature seized Jiang Kai while he was immobilized. If he died in this realm, he would be penalized and would have to wait a month before logging back in. It brought Jiang Kai in front of it, grinning with drool. If it's like this, then isn't it just a direct loss? A private victory agreement with the commander, right? At this moment, Jiang Kai had no strength left. Breathing heavily, he thought, so I'll drag my brother and sister into this forced to join the army. He closed his eyes helplessly and said, but if I'm in such a tough spot right now... Suddenly, a voice echoed in Jiang Kai's empty mind. Wake up! Memories flashed back to him, an image of someone rushing. The voice continued, wake up! Jiang Kai saw himself as a child, covered in injuries, being carried by someone. It was his older brother, carrying him while running, crying amidst the smoke and gunfire. You must not sleep. You have to try to stay awake. His brother was gasping for breath, exhausted. I will definitely... Jiang Kai looked at him. His brother was also covered in wounds around him. The sky was a deadly red and monstrous roars echoed continuously. The scene was terrifyingly desolate. His brother shouted through tears, I will definitely get you all out of this battlefield. This was 15 years ago on the battlefield of the Beast God. His mind went dark once again. This time, Jiang Kai woke up still in the grip of the black creature. Jiang Kai snapped back to reality. How could I be sleeping? The black creature opened its mouth wide, preparing to swallow Jiang Kai. He was still motionless in its grasp. My brother could save me and my sister back on the Beast God battlefield. Jiang Kai struggled to open his palm. A bright red beam shot out from his hand. How could I? He opened his eyes wide, staring at his body, feeling the overwhelming power of red surrounding him. Jiang Kai murmured, can I really do this? The black creature directly swallowed him whole before he could act. It grinned, satisfied after a hearty meal. But immediately a beam of light shot through its eye. Its face changed color. Before it could react, blood splattered everywhere. Where its head used to be, only blood gushed out. The black creature collapsed to the ground, no longer moving. Jiang Kai pushed himself up to stand. He had defeated the elite earth elemental creature at level 20. Yes, he silently celebrated his success. Even though the outside of this black beast has very high defense, its mouth has no defense at all. You slowly lift your hand off the ground, so you just need to attack inside its mouth. That way you can break through its defense. It's just like when we killed the Wolf King. Jiang Kai struggled to stand up, his body covered in wounds, suddenly remembering something. The elite Baoyang. Jiang Kai turned his head to look at the shining sword still neatly placed on the stone. Finally, it was back in his hands. Half an hour later, the group outside had also wiped out all the black beasts. They cheered, "We won." One person shouted loudly, "It's thanks to that kid who led one away." Otherwise, we would have been completely wiped out. Another person chimed in, "Then that kid must be dead, right? Hung Dat can finally relax." If he's dead, doesn't that mean we have an extra half? They gathered at the cave entrance, excited to head in. Bao Yang must be waiting for us inside. This time, we hit the jackpot. Hung Dat suddenly stopped. He stared wide-eyed, stunned. Inside the cave, there was nothing left. It was dark, only the sound of the wind howling. The sword had been taken away. Hung Dat couldn't believe his eyes. He shouted in frustration, "What the hell is this?" "Where's Bao Yang?" The elite Bao Yang. How could he not be here? One guy quickly raised his hand and said to him, "Boss, I just remembered. Earlier during the fight, I think I saw that kid sneak into the cave." Hung Dat looked at him in shock. "What? Why didn't you say that sooner?" The one who spoke was hesitant. "I thought it was an illusion, because I didn't think he could survive." The others were also stunned. "What?" The rest began to panic. "Captain, didn't our fight end up being in vain? We've spent so many days on this trip. You see, even if we didn't find Bao Yang, you still have to pay us. You still owe me several months' salary." Hung Dat shouted angrily, the veins on his forehead bulging. "I can't believe we fell for that kid's trick in the end." He yelled, starting to curse uncontrollably. Somewhere in the valley, Zhang Kai's voice echoed, "It has to be like this to escape those people." You stand in the forest, opening the electronic screen. Suddenly, the Doong with 3 sharp claws appears. Let's see what's inside the Doong. As soon as the Doong opens, Zhang Kai's eyes light up. The Doong dazzles with blinding light. Inside the Doong are countless jewels and pearls. In the center is a cloak. Zhang Kai's eyes shine brightly. He is overjoyed. "Wow, this is incredible. I didn't expect there to be so many minerals plus equipment too." Zhang Kai picks up the cloak from the Doong. The value of the minerals and equipment in this Doong is worth 10,000 times more than the corpses of those monsters. I'm going to get rich. While handling the equipment, he suddenly sees something mixed among the jewels. It's a pair of gloves. On the back of the hand, there's a metal circle with a flame sword design in the center. There's still another piece of equipment. Zhang Kai picks it up and examines it. He puts it on his hand. These gloves are brand new. Zhang Kai can't help but wonder what kind of equipment this is. Is it for attack or something else? I have to try it on. A beam of light suddenly envelops him after he puts it on. His body feels lighter and much stronger. Could this be equipment that enhances strength and agility? Zhang Kai looks at the empty ground ahead, ready to test his skills. He clenches his fist, and 3 claws spring out from the gloves. He swings his hand, and the claws rush forward like the wind. Suddenly, the claws burst into flames blazing as they continue to charge ahead. Zhang Kai furrows his brow in thought. The flames appear on the throwing daggers. Could this be a type of auxiliary equipment for fire damage for weapons? He recalls the effects of various types of fire on monsters. In the realm of minerals, there are many types of fire. Special fire can cause different types of wounds to opponents during battle. He remembers the image of the monster when attacked. Moreover, ordinary fire has very low damage. It can't be used in combat. It can only be used for cooking. The monster in his mind mocks him. "Ordinary fire, are you scratching my back?" Zhang Kai raises his hand, his face contorted in a grimace. Could it be that? This is only good for roasting meat. Suddenly, a scream pierces the air, cutting through his thoughts. What was that sound? Then comes the thud of a black stone hitting the ground, followed by a series of rumbling sounds rushing toward Zhang Kai. The system alerts Monster Alert Elite Earth Elemental Black Stones 4. Level 18, particularly dangerous. Zhang Kai realizes there are 4 elite black stones with Earth attributes. Zhang Kai jumps back, cursing under his breath. This isn't good. I was just testing the gloves. He charges forward with his claws. He barely managed to deal with one before, and now there are 4. The claws rush forward this time, burning even more fiercely than the first time. Zhang Kai aims for the mouth of one that is opening wide. He can only focus on attacking their mouths, just like he did before. But before the 3 claws could reach the mouth, they were bitten off by the black stone. They couldn't break through. But the 3 claws hadn't even reached the mouth before the black beast bit them off, unable to break through. The damage defense class is created out of nothing. Zhang Kai widened his eyes, realizing it was bad. 4 black beasts immediately charged towards Zhang Kai. He turned and ran for his life. These guys actually knew how to keep their mouths shut to take the hits. They roared furiously, chasing after him. Moreover, even if they opened their mouths, the death strike in his hand wouldn't be enough to kill all 4 of them. Zhang Kai, filled with dread, thought, "Could it be that I'm going to die here today?" Just then, the fire from his claws flared up, igniting a patch of the black beast. The remaining black beasts were similarly affected. Each flame took away 10 health points. Zhang Kai was slightly surprised. He glanced at them. Why wasn't the fire going out? The flames continued to spread quickly over the black beasts, igniting them thanks to their fur. The leading black beast's eyes suddenly widened in shock. The fire had now erupted violently. In the next moment, the flames completely engulfed it. The system displayed a deduction of 2,000 health points amidst the fire. It was the sound of screaming. The black beast's eyes bulged. At this point, it could not escape the sea of flames and could only roar in pain as the fire grew larger. The black beast completely collapsed. The system continuously reported deductions of 2,000 health points. The black beasts behind it were stunned, not daring to advance. Zhang Kai ran while glancing back. He was just as stunned. What was this huge fire? The embers from the large fire flew towards the other black beasts in the wind. The remaining 3 black beasts quickly caught fire and were engulfed in flames. The 4 large fires converged, creating a terrifying scene. Zhang Kai stopped running and knelt down to observe the black beasts. Why did it suddenly? The flames gradually died down. The image of the black beasts lying on the ground appeared. Zhang Kai was shocked. They were all dead. The system displayed the message, "Eliminate the elite Black Earth Elemental Beasts X4." Zhang Kai stood there stunned. That's right. Earlier, he had seen the fire damage of 10 suddenly become 2,000. What was going on? Collect the corpses of the elite Black Earth Elemental Beast X4. He couldn't help but wonder. 2,000 isn't just double. It's not my usual damage, is it? Zhang Kai looked down at his shiny gloves. He raised both hands, feeling both puzzled and delighted. Could it be that these gloves unleashed ordinary flames and also allowed him to deal critical hits of 200 damage to his attacks? Moreover, this type of fire could spread to the whole group. He recalled the image of the black beasts catching fire gradually. He realized that the power of ordinary fire was very small, but if a monster had no fire resistance, then the damage would penetrate the monster's defenses silently. Zhang Kai raised his hand. He was floating in a sea of flames. If each second burned 2,000 health points, it would directly turn into a fire battlefield. This type of equipment truly was a divine artifact for dealing damage specially tailored for him. He smirked, his smile clearly showing confidence. Now he didn't have to worry about piercing through the defense anymore. He could see the image of the forest in the sea of flames. Then, throughout the night, the black beasts in the King's Valley experienced explosions, along with the screams of the black beasts witnessing the darkest moments of their lives. Their kind, one by one, was annihilated. They had never seen anyone roast them into frogs just with ordinary flames under the bright moonlight. The black beasts fled in fear from the sea of flames. Zhang Kai's voice was calm, and not a single one saw anything with a health bar above them. A whole line of black beasts collapsed on the ground, motionless. Because the master of roasting meat, the ruthless one, would not spare any of them. Zhang Kai walked through the sea of flames, arms wide open. The fire continued to pour out from him as he laughed heartily. Surrounding him for 10 miles, treasures were not left behind. On the second day, the King's Valley still emitted smoke. Patches of grass had been completely charred, leaving only the towering mountains. Zhang Kai's wounds had healed, and he felt incredibly comfortable. Patches of grass had been completely scorched, leaving only the towering mountains. Zhang Kai's wounds had healed, and he felt relaxed and satisfied. You look at the digital board and happily say that you took down over 10 black stones in one night. Finally, I leveled up. The screen displays Adventurer Zhang Kai Gambler class level 7. Strength attribute 28, defense 32, critical hit chance 0.1%, agility 48, critical damage 20,000%, spirit power 48, experience points 85 out of 6,400. Zhang Kai admires the claw in his hand. Its shape resembles a death wish more than anything. Right now, the fire damage from the gloves is unbeatable within level 20. About area damage now. Zhang Kai looks up at the screen. A series of images of black stones and chests appear. Plus, I have 10 elite treasure chests and a pile of black stone corpses. I can definitely sell this for a lot of money. He suddenly ponders for a moment, his face thoughtful. Jiang Kai stands alone in the vast, windy meadow, but playing solo in this cursed land feels a bit lonely. I really miss the days of fighting alongside Nuan Nuan. He worries, I don't know what's happening to them now, but they have an army backing them up. He pauses, his voice a bit lonely. How could they be struggling more than me? Somewhere in the kingdom of the King's Valley, the stone pillar looks frustrated. He shouts, "Why is there nothing here who killed all the black stones in the King's Valley?" Really? He buries his face in the ground, crying, I've been in the King's Valley for a few days now, and I haven't seen a single black stone. How am I supposed to survive like this? Nuan Nuan sighs and replies, I remember when Jiang Kai took us to hunt monsters. Those were the good days. A voice calls out from behind the two of them. Nuan Nuan, don't say such sad things. It's the player Li Bill, a level 38 knight. He stands with his hands on his hips, speaking sternly. The reason you can encounter monsters is that you're in the newbie area. And with your current levels being new, this is a high-level monster area. Li Bill smirks. If Jiang Kai brought you to the King's Valley, it could end badly. That's why I took the time to bring you two here to experience it, not to hear complaints. He shouts, All right, let's keep looking. The black stones move, and the two of them, the stone pillar and Nuan Nuan, stand at attention, hands clasped in front of their chests. That's the spirit. As Li Bill walks away, they silently cry inside. But I still think of Jiang Kai, and I feel the same. 3 days later, a group of people led by Trung Hai stands before the corpses of many black monkeys. He speaks up. It's strange, I've been in the King's Valley for a few days, and all I can find are these ordinary black monkeys. Then he plants his sword in the ground, grinning triumphantly. These ordinary black stones are nothing to us. They're as easy as pie. The guy Vun Tui next to him gives a thumbs up, laughing loudly. Young Master Huang Vi told us to go kill Jiang Kai. It's like using a butcher's knife to kill a chicken. Suddenly a voice booms from behind them. One person killing one stone is just that. Trung Hai jumps frowning as he glances back. Tun, chewing loudly, coldly says, A few days ago we saw a big shot take down 3 black stones in one go. The crowd agrees. Yeah, that scene was really terrifying. Trung Hai isn't surprised. Instead, he shows disdain. One person taking down 3, please. Is this really a big deal for you guys? Tuan jerked, sitting on the cliff, clicking his tongue. His eyes still closed, enjoying the moment, not caring about them. Trung Hai raised his hand to the electronic board displaying a picture of Jiang Kai. Let me ask, are you guys in here? Have you ever seen this person before? Tuan glanced and immediately recognized the person in the photo. What a coincidence! That's the big shot I mentioned, who took down those 3 black beasts. Seeing Jiang Kai, his eyes instantly lit up. Super handsome! Lung Kung raised his voice to question, Are you guys blind or something? Look closely. This guy is just a level 5 newbie. Trung Hai smirked. Exactly, don't let jealousy get the best of you. You guys are talking nonsense. Tuan tossed the core of the fruit he just ate onto the ground and turned to leave. If you don't believe it, go find this big shot. We just saw him leave the King's Valley. I still need to greet that old man first. As soon as Trung Hai heard that, he broke into a savage smile. What do you mean, is Jiang Kai nearby? He pulled the sword he had just stuck into the ground out. All 5 of them moved forward, their eyes bloodshot. Lung Kung spoke up. Let's go. I've been wandering in this dump for days now. It's time to give young Master Huang Vi an explanation. Trung Hai still wore that savage grin. Finally, we can take that kid down. Kan looked exasperated. Looks like they want to settle the score with the big shot. Niu Qi also showed a face of frustration and helplessness. The aura of the big shot was like a sage wanting to escape the mundane and the arrogance of these people. They are often seen as cannon fodder in those comic books. Tuan agreed. Exactly. At the exit of the King's Valley, many people were gathered. One dissatisfied person spoke up. What a bummer, this trip to the King's Valley. We didn't even encounter a single black beast. A guy with a scar on his mouth chimed in. I heard there was a forest fire that killed them all, so we have to wait a bit longer before we can go in. The bald guy behind agreed. Yeah, everyone has to wait anyway, and we won't have to worry about anyone wiping us out. Just then, the culprit of the mass extermination passed by. It was Jiang Kai. He was happily walking while looking at the electronic screen. It took me 3 days to wipe out all those black beasts to reach level 10, and I even got 19 elite treasures. First, I should head back to the Holy City to sell for some cash. What's that? His screen displayed the adventurer Jiang Kai, level 10 gambler profession with strength attributes. First, I should head back to the Holy City to sell for some money. The screen displayed adventurer Jiang Kai, level 10 gambler strength attribute. 40 defense cannot be quantified, 44 critical hit rate, not even 1% agility. 66 critical damage, 20,000% spirit power, 66 experience points, 332 out of 12, 800. A voice rang out shouting your name, Jiang Kai, stop right there. Jiang Kai was a bit surprised, glancing back to see who it was. It was the group from high school. They had caught up. Trung Hai pointed a finger at Jiang Kai's face, arrogantly saying, "You've been hiding for so many days. It was really hard for us to find you." The crowd around them buzzed. Isn't that the Eagle Squad from the Royal Huyen Vu Guild? What did this kid do to provoke such an elite team? Jiang Kai coldly replied, Royal Huyen Vu Guild, which one is that? Did the royal family send you to find me? Trung Hai slowly drew his sword, maintaining a sly expression. Have you forgotten who you offended during the newbie trial? Oh, how could a lowly one like you dare to pick a fight with the young master Huang Vi? The other three also drew their weapons ready for battle. We're here to take your life. It's come to this. Jiang Kai did not back down. He was ready to fight. He lowered his head, focusing his strength for the newbie trial. It was Huang Vi who attacked first. I'm just defending myself. Are you sure you want to go against me? Trung Hai charged forward. I don't care who's right or wrong among you. Hong Nan also rushed in. Do you know how much the young master Huang Vi will reward us if we kill you? Jiang Kai extended his fiery claws, responding in a deep voice. Is that so? If you all are after profit without distinguishing right from wrong. He unleashed a blazing attack towards them. The blazing pursuit flew swiftly, and Jiang Kai's voice was firm. Then I won't hold back. The blazing pursuit swept past Trung Hai's group, neatly dodging them. Each of them was only slightly singed. The system displayed a deduction of 10 health points for each. Trung Hai remained arrogant, laughing. Not even a scratch. Is this tiny spark your skill? Hongyan laughed loudly. I now seriously doubt how the young master could be killed by a useless one like you. The crowd began to comment and mock Jiang Kai. Turns out he's just an ordinary flame. With damage like this, it's really embarrassing. I thought he was really powerful. Isn't this just lighting a cigarette for someone else? Jiang Kai maintained his confident demeanor, slightly smirking. Really? The damage from my fire may be a bit small now, but what if I could make this fire cause a bit more damage? Trung Hai looked down at his armor, which had caught fire. He was astonished. Moments later, the flames erupted violently. They engulfed him entirely, and he screamed in pain. The other three were stunned, sweating profusely, their faces filled with fear and confusion, loudly calling out, Trung Hai, Captain! Their desperate cries were like a black hole of vitality. He was now continuously losing 2,000 health points. What's happening? How can the damage from an ordinary flame be this high? How can the damage from normal fire be this high? His gang outside also started to catch fire. They were both confused and scared. Immediately, they felt like they were being swallowed by the sea of flames. The whole group screamed in despair and pain. They shouted loudly, wanting to escape, but there was no way out. Why do I feel the same way? The fire was getting bigger and bigger. It flared up quickly. I couldn't see them anymore. The sky was ablaze. A notification appeared. Explorer Jiang Kai had destroyed the Eagle Squad and could claim the experience points from the Min Hin team and the onlookers. Looking on in shock, what on earth is happening? Trung Hai collapsed in the flames as Jiang Kai approached the dying fire. If you all want to rush to give your heads to me. He smiled down at Trung Hai, who had been so arrogant just moments ago, now crumpled at his feet. Then I guess I'll graciously accept this offering. The people around immediately started to panic. What the hell is this? That kid managed to wipe out an entire Eagle Squad. This is the Elite Level 20 group. If I hadn't seen it with my own eyes, I would have thought it was staged to burn an entire team with regular fire. They were so shocked that they couldn't stop cursing. Who the hell is this kid? Jiang Kai calmly retrieved the fate arrow he had shot earlier and began to claim the experience points. One person started searching for information about Jiang Kai through the electronic device. Why can't my watch evaluate him? His attributes, level 12. The attributes exceeded the evaluation limit, resulting in a failure. The others were stunned. No way, how can this be? The guy searching for information widened his eyes. Sweat was pouring down his forehead. I got it, he stammered. Could it be that he is a fire mage? Maybe he's using an item to conceal himself. No way. How can outsiders not probe? Are the others also fire mages? Exactly, it must be that. He is the fire god. Jiang was still calm, feeling great. He had leveled up twice already. Explorer Jiang gambler profession, level 12 strength, 48 physique, 52 agility, 78 mental power, 78 defense with no critical hit ratio. No critical hit damage, 20,000% experience points, 1716 out of 12, 800. He looked up and gently asked Yebrain, by the way, why can't they see my attributes? Yebrain looked at him, and a gentle voice replied, because your dual talent as a gambler has too many supplementary attributes, the difference between your attributes and those of others at the same level is too great, making it impossible for outsiders to assess through their watches. Jiang coldly glanced back. Is that so? He turned around and walked away, leaving the crowd in shock. Well, it's good that they can't find out. It reduces the chance of being targeted by outsiders. At the Holy Wine Tavern, a place for item trading, Jiang stepped in. Hello, I want to sell some things. The elegant trader was slumped over the table, still half asleep. Welcome, dear customer, to the trading counter. Jiang sighed, thinking to himself, after a whole day there's only one new customer. Why is today's efficiency the lowest? Still he smiled. All right, I have a lot of stuff. Please calculate how much it's worth. The trader looked up at her expression bored. How much can a poor guy like you sell? I guess at most. Suddenly her eyes widened in shock. A series of images of the black orbs that Jiang had destroyed appeared before her. Look, I have over 10 corpses of those powerful black orbs here. I guess. Suddenly her eyes widened in shock. In front of her was a series of images of the black warriors that Jiang had defeated. She looked at it. Here I have over 10 corpses of those powerful black warriors. Then Ya was so shocked that she jumped up and Jiang grinned, raising his hand. Besides that, Jiang waved his hand and a series of images of Dung appeared, countless in number. I still have 19 more elite Dung here. Jiang peeked through the photos. Sorry, can you still see me? I wanted to ask, how much can all these things be sold for in total? Then Ya was stunned, staring at the items without blinking. Is this guy from a hunting corporation? Others sell them one by one. But how can he sell them by the basket like this? Then she shook her head to regain her composure. Then Ya slammed her hand on the table, her excitement completely different from before. Don't worry, I'm actually the top consumer here. Let me handle the calculations for you today. She thought to herself, turns out he's a big shot. Even if I have to risk it, I must secure this deal. Jiang smiled. Then I'll bother you. A series of numbers displayed on the handheld computer, 180,000. Then Ya flipped through the stacks of papers, unable to hide her surprise at this wealthy guy. Your identification cards are here. They can be sold for 10,000 yuan. As for the elite Dung and the items inside, they can be sold for 170,000 yuan. She paused to clear her throat. So in total, you can sell for 180,000 ghost currency. Jiang eyes lit up. He couldn't believe the huge number 180,000 ghost currency. Jiang thought to himself, calculating in his head, 10,000 ghost currency equals 10 sacred currency. Ghost currency is the currency of the ghost realm. One ghost currency can be exchanged for 10 sacred currency. So this time it's worth 1.8 million. This amount is enough for enough to cover my brother's medical expenses. He walked down the street with his hands in his pockets, eyes closed, looking very relaxed. The bet with the commander to take good care of his brother was now completed. I don't need to enlist anymore. This time I can return to Earth and arrange for my brother to be hospitalized. Suddenly, a voice called out to him, Wait, I'm Honyun, the fortune teller from last time. Jiang turned around and saw Honyun rushing over, panting. Last time I advised you to go to the King's Valley, right? You must have reaped a lot and even taken down a few rude ones, huh? Jiang immediately realized. He smiled. The King's Valley really helped me a lot. Thank you so much. Honyun raised a finger in front of him. Then, could you fulfill a small request of mine? After a moment of hesitation, Zhang Kai immediately agreed. Sure, you've helped me so much. Go ahead. Hongyun hesitated, her face flushed and dotted with sweat. She pointed to herself and smiled shyly. I, Hongyun, want to join your team. I hope you'll let me fight alongside you from today. Zhang Kai immediately turned away, his face showing clear rejection. Hongyun was surprised at how quickly he refused. Why are you so straightforward? Hongyun's eyes were filled with sadness as she sighed. Just as I expected, still the same. A character deemed useless by the army. How could anyone? Hongyun's voice trailed off. Forget it. I know you're someone who loves free stuff, right? Do you want to equip yourself with what I have? It's a gift for you. After all, this is the last time I'll log into this game. Zhang Kai hesitated. He turned to look at her, puzzled. Last time, are you also broke? You're planning to go offline forever. Don't you want to keep making money in this game? Hongyun avoided his gaze, her voice sad, but her lips still smiled. I wish I could, but I just can't. In the end, what can I do? What team would want a useless person who only knows fortune-telling in battle? She paused for a moment and sighed. When the army decided that a geomancer was a strong profession, I took advantage of the army's support for geomancers. Then I successfully reached level 20 and switched to being a fortune teller, Hongyun explained gently. However, the initial talent of a geomancer is just a better ability to sense time, place, and people. After switching to being a fortune teller, you only get an additional fortune-telling skill. She recalled the scene of herself and other fortune tellers being escorted out by soldiers. After that, the army abandoned us when they discovered that fortune tellers had no combat skills. They just tossed us aside because we were too weak and no one was willing to team up with us. So my level has pretty much stagnated since then. Hongyun remembered the lonely days sitting at the fortune-telling booth with no one to take her to hunt monsters every day. She had to struggle to make ends meet in this game. If I could go back to Earth to do a job, like picking up trash or being a laborer. Hongyun paused. The image of her carrying a sack appeared. Her voice was heavy. At least I would have something to eat. Zhang Kai felt a pang of sympathy upon hearing that. That sounds really tough. My brother's body also suffered because of overwork. You're just a weak girl. How could you handle that? In response, Hongyun just smiled gently. What else can I do? Hongyun broke into a bright smile. On Earth, I still have younger siblings. In my family, I'm the pillar. So even if I can't take it, I have to endure. Yet behind that smile was an indescribable sadness. Her smile unconsciously reminded Zhang Kai of his older brother. It's okay. My brother can handle it. Her circumstances startled him, making him pause because they were so similar to his own. Zhang Kai recalled his childhood. Back then, his brother was just like this. Originally, his brother wanted to develop in this game, nurturing the ambition to one day defeat the beast god. He felt a lump in his throat, but after he took care of me and my sister, he was afraid there would be no one to look after us. So he gave up the chance to go to this game, which led to his weakened condition. Hongyun's voice interrupted his thoughts. She turned to him. All right. Do you want my equipment? If you do, just wait there. I'll go get it for you. After all, this is before I return to the real world and never come back here again. Goodbye. Zhang Kai called out. Wait, let me. Hongyun was a bit surprised. Zhang Kai turned back, looking at her seriously. I'm Zhang Kai. I have to log off now. But it won't be for long. Next time I log in, you can find me. We'll become a team. Hongyun blushed, feeling emotional. She was so happy that her legs trembled uncontrollably. Zhang Kai stammered, turning to walk away while waving goodbye. I really mean it. If I were to deceive you, I would never have money for the rest of my life. Honan wiped her tears away, her voice trembling with emotion. A stingy person like you only cares about money. If you dare to say this, then it must be the truth. She quickly ran over and hugged Zhang Kai from behind, shouting loudly, Thank you! You're such a good person! Zhang Kai was caught off guard by Honyan's hug and choked on his saliva. How can you live like this? Honyan ignored Zhang Kai, pushing her away, wanting to hug him again. In the residential area of Earth, in the slums where Zhang Kai lived, as soon as he got home, he shouted loudly, Big brother, I'm back. From today, you two don't have to work anymore. I've earned some money. The three of them sat around a round table. Zhang Kai crossed his arms confidently. Big brother looked a bit surprised. Really? How did you make money? He kept pointing at him. Where did you earn it? Is it legal or not? Jiang Kai glanced at the little girl, wondering what she was saying. I earned it from the demon realm. Tomorrow, I'll arrange for Big Brother to go for surgery. I'll go back to school and study, okay? Big Brother felt a bit reluctant. Little Jiang Kai, you've worked hard for me during this time. Jiang Kai scratched his head, feeling embarrassed. Compared to how hard you've worked to take care of us, this is nothing. Jiang Kai looked at the picture of the three of them together. Happiness echoed in his voice. Big Brother, just relax. In the past, you were always the one working hard, but now I have the ability. I will definitely make sure everyone lives a good life. The three of them were joyful, raising their glasses in a toast. They said in unison, to our loving family. While Jiang Kai was drinking, he heard the sound of a phone ringing. He glanced at the unfamiliar number calling him. When he answered, it was the voice of Wei Ying, who was at the battlefield. Jiang Kai, you won the bet. Do you have time now? His voice was low and deep. Wait a moment. I'll send someone to pick you up to see the goods. Remember to come over. Jiang Kai immediately recognized it was Commander Wei. A moment later, he arrived at the battlefield of the Beast God outside the safe zone of the Holy Land, a place where skyscrapers lay in ruins. A voice echoed, It's here. Jiang Kai was led by two soldiers. He looked around, remembering how many years had passed. The city where I lived as a child has become like this. Suddenly, the leading soldier stopped. Jiang Kai looked up. In front of him stood a white-haired man, his cloak fluttering in the wind. Commander Wei, may I ask why you called me here? A furious roar shook the ground, making Jiang Kai gasp in shock at the loud noise. The burned buildings in front of him were collapsing. Amidst the sea of flames, a giant monster appeared. On its back were three figures soaring through the air, fighting against the Black Beast. Jiang Kai was stunned. Is that the supernatural at the Beast God battlefield? He was astonished by the scene before him. Currently, every level 20 for those exploring the demon realm is a turning point originally divided into 6 stages. Among them, although there are explorers from level 1 to 80 who can become stronger after changing their profession, their power can only be used on the monsters. Just as he finished speaking, the three in front began to act. But for the superhuman, it was different, because when an explorer enters the stage from level 81 to 120, to become a superhuman, a fundamental change is needed. The three of them held their weapons and charged straight at the roaring monster. The Black Beast didn't let them attack first. Raising its head and opening its mouth, a beam of light appeared as it prepared to unleash its attack. Jiang Kai's voice remained steady at that moment. The power that could only be used on monsters was quickly blocked by the lead person's shield, completely absorbing its attack. They frowned, feeling the intense tension as they faced the beast. The giant beast could actually be brought back to Earth. The three of them soared into the air, exerting all their strength. They refused to back down and charged forward to fight. The emergence of this superhuman power was not only a significant change in the military history of humanity, but also a challenge for mankind today in the battle against the divine beasts. Jiang Kai's voice became more excited. This was the most effective tactic. At the same time, the three-person attack succeeded simultaneously. Piercing through the monster's skin and flesh, Jiang Kai jumped forward, joyfully shouting, "We got it!" "It's so powerful!" The eagle beside him remained calm, smoking a cigarette. "You don't know, do you? This is just an ordinary divine beast. But to deal with that guy," his expression was serious. "We've already lost 2 superhumans." Jiang Kai was taken aback by this. He widened his eyes. The eagle continued in a deep voice. "Jiang Kai, humanity is in a very bad situation these days. Don't stay in the safe zone for too long. Forget about this danger. You've won this bet. I won't force you to join the army." Thunder rumbled in the sky, dark clouds rolling in. The eagle closed his eyes leisurely. "I'll deal with the royal side and remind them not to touch you." He noticed the surprise on Jiang Kai's face and smiled faintly. "It must be quite strange. Why do I value you so much, right?" The eagle paused for a moment, his voice firm and confident. "Because I always trust my instincts." Rain began to fall, a few drops splattering on Jiang Kai's face. He listened intently to every word. The eagle slowly continued, "My instincts tell me that you can become a powerful being, and in the future you might be strong enough that the entire Holy Order will need your help." At this moment, the rain began to pour heavier, the sound of raindrops hitting the ground echoing throughout the space. The three who had just stood in the rain by the fallen black beast, the rain mixed with the eagle's low voice. But I know in this situation, you just want to protect your family. If you join the army, you'll have to go to the battlefield, and the battlefield is indeed very dangerous. The eagle took a drag from his cigarette. But the world is full of guilty people, and it's a shame. We need someone to step up and fight against these monsters. Right. The guard casually tossed aside the still-burning cigarette. His voice was steady. One day we too will have to die on the battlefield, but as a servant of the holy nation. He suddenly turned to look at Zhang Kai, his expression weary. If I can die for the country for all of you, then I'm willing. A bolt of lightning crashed down behind Zhang Kai. You still stood there stunned. Zhang Kai, I'm not forcing you to choose, but if the holy nation faces danger in the future, I hope you can be strong enough. So fight for the holy nation, all right? A few days later, after Zhang Kai rested on Earth, he returned to the demon planet. In the holy nation city on the demon planet, Zhang Kai couldn't stop thinking about the words the guard had said. He never expected the commander to think so highly of him. Could it be that in the future he could be the one the holy nation needs? Then he raised his hand to check the time. Forget it. I should focus on myself first. The black beasts in the Royal Valley must have already made their rounds by now. The screen displayed an image of the female demon. An elite monster with extremely high damage potential. It could easily wipe out explorers with its attacks and had effective crowd control against physical beings. Another line appeared. The female demon's scream could immobilize explorers within a 10-meter radius, causing extreme fear. Only attacks from within that range could deal damage to her. Zhang Kai repeated the information on the screen to himself. He stared at the female demon. What a powerful monster. Anyone within 10 meters would be at risk of being wiped out. Outside of 10 meters, however, it wouldn't cause any damage. He turned off the screen, closed his eyes, and made up his mind. Zhang Kai, hands in his pockets, walked forward with determination. This monster seems to be more troublesome than the black beasts. I need to have teammates from a distance. Ho Nyun was dozing off in the middle of the road, still holding a sign that read, "Don't disturb me, I'm waiting for the captain." She was mumbling, "Captain, oh captain," as passers-by commented, "Is she out of her mind?" Zhang Kai appeared behind her looking helpless. "Ho Nyun, didn't I tell you to wait for me here after I went offline?" Ho Nyun immediately woke up, turning to look at him with teary eyes and a chattering mouth. "Captain Zhang Kai, I knew you would come back. I've been waiting for you here for days." Zhang Kai smiled. "I missed you too." Ho Nyun suddenly squinted her eyes, suspiciously covering her mouth, and whispering, "Captain Zhang Kai, do you want to take me to fight monsters? Now I can help you find a really strong team. I know someone who can help with monster hunting really well. What do you think? Do you need him?" Hearing this, Zhang Kai was overjoyed. "Helping with monster hunting? That's great, but he better not be a drunkard." A chubby boy immediately stood in front of them, scratching his head. "Hi, I'm Nguyen Gu. I'm a bit of a drunkard." He had bottles of alcohol hanging from his belt. Zhang Kai immediately ran away, shouting, "I don't need him." Ho Nyun laughed awkwardly. "Captain Zhang Kai, you're so honest." Nguyen Gu looked confused. Ho Nyun shouted after Zhang Kai, who was angrily walking away. "Captain Zhang Kai, take Nguyen Gu with you. He's used to suffering." "He's gotten used to suffering. You're really obedient, huh?" Nguyen Gu, feeling embarrassed, lowered his head and fidgeted with his fingers. Ho Nyun didn't give up and chased after Zhang Kai. Nguyen Gu would also cook for him, massage his feet, and give him shoulder rubs. He even said that as long as you agree to take him along, Zhang Kai's face would still be as dark as coal. He was willing to join without asking for any spoils. Zhang Kai was shocked and widened his eyes. He rushed towards Nguyen Gu, reaching out to grab his hand, his eyes sparkling with excitement. "Hello, comrade Nguyen Gu. I'm Captain Zhang Kai. The moment I saw you, I knew you were talented. From now on, you are a member of our team." Zhang Kai laughed heartily, hands on his hips, punching the air with enthusiasm. "Today, I, your captain, will lead everyone to find the spirit of the female ghost. Starting today, we are a family. Let's go." Nguyen Gu looked confused at Ho Nyun hesitating. "Our captain is a bit?" Zhang Kai kept shouting, "We are family." Ho Nyun felt helpless at his sudden change of heart. "That's right. It's not really family. It's just that you're free, so the captain acts like this." Before they knew it, night had fallen. The bright moonlight illuminated the trees and mountains. Deep in the forest, a shabby wooden house appeared shrouded in a misty fog. That was the king of the valley, the elite monster of the female ghost. Inside the wooden house, eerie moans echoed, and a hand full of sharp claws was casting a spell. That was the elite female ghost, level 20 skinny, wearing a tattered white dress emitting a terrifying scream. From the cliff, a figure appeared, observing the female ghost. "That's Zhang Kai," he whispered. "Everyone, this female ghost is way stronger than the Black Jade. If we get exposed, we'll be wiped out. We need to keep our voices down." He kept his eyes on the female ghost, who was whispering while observing her surroundings. "Moreover, we must pay attention. Only attacks within 10 meters can take her down." "Got it. So we have to be extremely careful in finding a chance to get closer to her." Honyun, a bit scared, spoke up. A voice interrupted, echoing loudly. "Captain," Jiang Kai whispered sharply. "Honyun, keep it down." Honyun, confused, pointed at herself. She didn't understand why Jiang Kai was reminding her. The sound continued, accompanied by moans. Captain Jiang Kai didn't turn around, whispering angrily. "Honyun, be quiet." Honyun waved her hands. "Captain, I wasn't saying anything." The moaning continued. Captain Jiang Kai, losing patience, turned around. "If it's not you, then who is making that noise?" It was Nguyen Ngu lounging on a branch, surrounded by empty bottles. He was holding up a bottle and snoring loudly. "Captain, look what I found!" Nguyen Ngu was tipsy and suddenly shouted excitedly, "Thank you! I toast to you, Captain!" Jiang Kai and Honyun gritted their teeth. The female ghost heard the noise and quickly turned around. She swiftly flew up high and found the three hiding. Jiang Kai was startled by her incredible speed. The female ghost shouted, and a beam of light appeared in her mouth. Her eyes were glowing red with 4 sharp fangs. Jiang Kai was terrified and yelled, "Nguyen, Ngu, what are you doing?" Honyun said, "Didn't you say having him join would be beneficial?" Honyun beside him looked pale. "I just said that casually." Jiang Kai was in shock. "We're doomed now." The female ghost screamed loudly, tearing the air apart. The terrifying force seemed to blow all 3 of them away. An invisible force struck directly at them. Jiang Kai and Honyun quickly realized something was wrong. Nguyen Ngu was still sleeping soundly. Jiang Kai's face darkened. The system warned of an abnormal state. The state of destruction. The female ghost had transformed into a form even more terrifying than before. Jiang Kai and Honyun knelt motionless before her, truly frightened by this female ghost.